The game plays right here.
Are you ready for some football?
Your sports leader, WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, and WCSL Cherryville Gastonia.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Shock Joxx live in studios from Cherryville, North Carolina at the KTC Broadcasting Studios. I'm Kevin Hastings along with Zac Mayhue today. Intern Tanner's in the house. Hunter's got some things to do on Wednesdays this month, and he'll be getting back with us on Wednesdays. We may do tomorrow. Hunter and I are going to get back with him in a little bit, see if he wants to come in tomorrow. We've got a couple of things to talk about today to get into, Zac and I. Maybe some old school stuff, maybe some new school stuff, all kinds of things. Oh gosh, here they go, talking about these quarterbacks. Well, we got some Dak news.
Yeah.
Here's Ron Rivera talking about Alex Smith. So what if he gets hurt again? What if anybody gets hurt again? He was 5-1 last year. And Zac, Hunter's not here on today, but you know you get to miss his Mondays when I put him on the spot.
Yeah.
He's ready to get rid of all these old quarterbacks,
The ones that win.
Yeah, glad you put it that way. That's what I always try to lead into.
I mean,
he thinks Pittsburgh can do better than Big Ben, and my answer to all these is with who? Drew Brees. They won't run out of town.
Minus Romo. When's the last time Cowboys had a good quarterback? Troy Aikman, right? Romo was. They fell into Romo
And Dak.
Dolphins.
I think Romo and Dak.
Oh yeah, Dak's serviceable. They way overpaid.
Romo is undrafted, and Dak was fourth round. They just guaranteed more money, Zac, to Dak Prescott than Romo made in his 14-year career in Dallas.
He's getting $66 million to sign him on it. He's going to get $75 this year.
This year, $75 million. Romo got $125. Now, I'm not saying, of course, you know, Romo set the bench a few years behind Bledsoe. But, and see, that's where a lot of the guys lose their money is those early contracts. You know, if you're first, second round, you get these big contracts. But I told you and Terry and Tom, and that's the reason I was not going to pull for Dallas anymore, is when they got rid of Romo. They chose to go with a rookie quarterback on a playoff team.
Yeah.
Whether or not you go in the future the next year, you know, that's a different story. You know, let's go to camp. Let's have a competition. They knew they couldn't go to competition because you weren't going to beat out Romo. The injury thing is the excuse they used to move on for him. And now, Zac, what's funny about it, you use the injury excuse to move on so you don't have to pay the quarterback. Now you're paying the quarterback $40 million a year on average.
Yeah, and they missed out on the rookie contract deal. Like, they didn't capitalize.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't pay that quarterback that. You can fill your roster other spaces. And you're supposed to win. and they didn't. They won with Dak in the lineup, but they didn't win against good teams. I don't know if you saw the stats on that.
I haven't seen the exact stats on it, but I know I know he overwhelmingly has a better record against bad teams than good teams.
It's unbelievable.
I know he overwhelmingly has a good record when Zeke runs for 100 yards.
And that ain't gonna happen much. Zeke,
he's fat. He's done.
He is awful.
Oh,
we was talking at we was at medical
24?
center. Yeah, we was at medical center today,
He ain't too old.
we was at medical center today. Me and Leroy was talking about you know Leroy used to do the refereeing.
Yeah.
And we was laughing. He said, "Man, Zeke got paid all that money." I said, "Yeah, and he went to Denny's." I thought he just started eating. No, he said, "You're right."
He went to Golden Corral.
He did, man.
He is just 25 years old.
This was his drawback.
Listen, you want to make fun of it, you don't, but like I feel bad for the running backs, because in a sport as physical as football is, they get abused more than anybody.
And they've already been abused.
Right. In high school and in college by coaches that are getting paid money while they're not getting paid money, and the only thing they care about is reps. Run that play again.
Oh, yeah.
Run that play again. Let's do that again. And I feel bad for the running back. So when they get a chance to get their money and they get paid, whatever, you pay them. But then you have to realize as an organization what's about to happen. As soon as you give anybody $1 million a game to do anything, well, Zach, are you going to hit that hole as hard? Are you going to fight for that extra yard? Or are you going to run out of bounds? You got a 5-year deal. Years 1 and 2, like, and how many times are you stepping out of bounds as opposed to finishing a run?
The running backs only get one good contract. They don't get two.
Yeah.
You don't look like a quarterback where you're going to go up and you're going to really knock it out.
So
you think about I think you've mentioned this before. I'd never let my son be running back in football. Because if he, just say he does make it, would you not rather him be a quarterback where he could play till he's 40, 42?
mm-hmm. Now, I've seen too many people come back, Zach, and I've mentioned, I know I haven't really went over it with you probably or not sure, but the running backs, when they come back to the huddle, a lot of times they've been hit so hard or then every play, then the next play you call their play again. So you can see it in their eyes, their breathing. Like I have respect for running backs in the pounding that they take, and I've only seen it in person on the high school level, and to me, like I can only imagine just going up in higher levels and getting hit in the head and the way they are. That I feel bad for them. I think Tanner might have been on one of the shows. I kind of went through it, but I can go through, Zach. I'm going to estimate 10 number, okay? But I will say this. Every single person that I played with in high school that played running back at some point had some type of off-the-field issues once we've left high school.
Right.
Whether they've been involved in drugs, gangs, suicides. Like, I'm saying every single one. It's not like, hey, I can go to the wide receivers that I played with and pick those out. No, like every single one that I know that I've played with had issues. And it's tough talking about some of those guys and thinking about them. One of them's mama Tanner, one of them's mama made our pregame meals. Like best homemade macaroni and cheese you could ever taste.
Right.
Just gushing in cheese. Sweet lady. He murder-suicided his whole family.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, I'm not saying that's going to happen if you play running back. What I'm saying is football will cause CTE. It will. There's no it won't. And to play, if it's almost like, Zach, if your kid's playing baseball, would you rather him be in the outfield or playing catcher?
Outfield.
That's kind of what I'm getting at with that is that, you know, if you like what you just said, you'd rather be a wide receiver than a running back.
Yeah,
I'm not. Running back's a tough job, and I feel bad. And anybody that gets the money for it, I think they deserve it from just watching people, man.
You know, I can remember. I'll say this, and I guess because I was so.
Think about people your age. I don't know. You think about anybody of the running backs that were in high school. If any of them like turned out well. You know what I mean? Like just in good shape. Hey, I
I
know
only
him.
know
He's
one running back from
he's the-
high school that did,
yeah.
and it was Trey Harper. So,
Yeah, I mean he's still playing and stuff. But yeah, the CTE stuff worries me and makes you really think about it and them getting the money. Now, as far as these quarterbacks go, Dallas is going to be paying Dak whatever on average $40 million. So again, how are they going to win the division? How are they going to win? How are they going to win anything?
Horrible. They ain't winning.
Right. How are they going to win anything? You look at them, you don't have a premier tight end. You got a wide receiver that's making $17 million a year that's not really, one of the top. He's not top 10, I don't think. If you name 10 wide receivers, are you saying Amari Cooper?
I mean, even with Amari, even if he's not the elite guy.
Hell, Tampa's got 2 or 3 I might take over him.
Yeah, I agree. What I was thinking of Amari, he's John Gruden. That's why John Gruden. What we're seeing in Dallas is why John Gruden didn't want him.
Mm-hmm.
He's talented, but he's lazy-ish.
Is that what it is?
That was the knock on him.
Okay.
That he had the talent, and John Gruden didn't like somebody that didn't have a motor. Mm-hmm. And you can see him being on the sidelines. He just ho-hum about stuff. He's not like, let's go to get it. He can do it. You've seen him do it multiple times, but he didn't have that motor. They might have a guy down there that they drafted last year that might have that. I can see him, but I can't think of his name. His first-round draft pick for him last year.
For who?
Dallas. The wide receiver they picked. I think that's going to be their guy.
You talking about Gallup, are you?
No, it's the guy that they picked last year.
Oh, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, he's going to be special.
CeeDee Lamb.
I really think.
So here's Dak's contract breakdown. Cap hit's the important thing. So this year is 22, then 33, then 44, then 47. There's a potential opt-out after the third year. I guess that's on the team. And then last year, 13. Let's see, 80, 110, 130, 140, I guess so. So it's a weird contract, Zach. They'll probably move it around every year just depending on the salary cap. 22, 33, 44, 47, 13. Now, here's the next news that just came out on that. Salary cap is down 8% this year from last year. That's 10%.
So if you're
Right.
$100 million, you're at 90.
Right. So
That's a good player.
They're at 182. Is
the salary?
Is the salary cap is 182 million. It's
They're
down
gonna lose
10%.
15, if that's $15 million. That's 2 good players.
That basically the salary cap basically was 200 million last year.
Yeah.
And they dropped down to 182.
Yeah. I thought it was 15, 16. That's 2 really good players.
What exactly do they do with the salary cap? Is that just how much they can get like in the draft, or is it like?
So that's how much each team can spend on salary.
Yeah.
So you have a roster of 65 in the NFL. So that's those 65 people can fit into the
You take your 182 and divide it by
$182
65. That's what you can pay on average per person. But then you got to lump in your quarterback's going to be the one that's making the big bucks.
Right. So baseball doesn't have a salary cap, so they can pay whatever they want. Okay. So in football, Tanner, what you have is a situation where, let's say, if I pay Dak Prescott $40 million, right? Well, Tom Brady's getting $25 million. Well, let's look at the Bucks payroll. Let's look at all the people the Bucks got that they have that the Cowboys won't have. and this is the thing in a salary cap sport, is this how you have to compare it. So in football, as far as trades wise, you can't make any trades if you're over the cap. Okay, you can sign veteran minimum. You can't sign people and go over the cap in football. Basketball is a little bit different. We can break that down later, but here's Tampa's salary. So how much did I say? 15 million, Zach?
Yep.
Yeah.
You could sign anybody on Tampa's roster not named Brady, Mike Evans, or Chris Godwin for that money. Any single player. Everyone else is making below $15 million. So Dallas is basically getting Dak Prescott, and Tampa's getting Tom Brady and Mike Evans. Who do you think is spending their money better, Tanner?
My chair just went down.
Tampa.
The chair just dropped on its own.
So that's the thing people need to understand is that a lot of people aren't arguing Dak doesn't deserve $40 million. It's that should you pay a quarterback $40 million when you can get 7 championships from $25 million and a number 1 wide receiver?
And I mean, who knows how much money of that they're actually going to see in their lifetime anyways.
What do you mean? Of all their money?
Because they don't get paid that $40 million in 1 year. They got to wait.
Yes, he will. Dak, I just read it too.
Dak's getting $75 million this year.
Yeah, up front.
Unbelievable.
Up
the highest
front.
signing bonus of all time. I think it's $66 million. I'm thinking is what.
So his cap hit will be 22.
They give him the signing bonus. They didn't take the money off the cap this year, but every year it goes up, and that last year's probably ungodly.
So what they do with the cap or the signing bonus is that you spread the signing bonus out every year. So whatever they decide to give him the signing bonus when you do the cap, that's how they spread it out so it doesn't count kind of against the cap, but it does. Mm-hmm. So basically, the more money you give to the signing, the less your cap hit will be because you've already given him the $75 million, but it's still got to count. So looking at Tampa, you could have Tom. So $40 million is what Dak is. So Tom this year will be $28 million on his cap hit. So would you rather have Brady and Jason Pierre-Paul or Dak Prescott?
Brady.
Would you rather have? How about this?
Because if you got a quarterback that's making let's just say they make 28, you can have a really good defensive guy for 12.
Yeah, but would you rather have a quarterback that has 7 rings?
Oh no, you're right. I'm taking Brady probably made 20 last year, and then you got that. I mean, Dak's making 40, and only your top 3 or 4 guys is at that point. You got Deshaun Watson, you got Dak, you probably got Mahomes.
You talk about
one other guy, big money quarterbacks. You probably got 4 it's over 30. I say the rest of everybody else is under 30.
What is Matt Ryan's? That's what
I'm gonna pull it up for you just a sec. Here it comes. NFL player contracts. Oops. This website that I look at, folks, for this is called Sport Track. It's fantastic with the contract. NFL salary rankings. Cap hit number 1, Matt Ryan.
I knew he was going to be number 1.
How much did he make a year?
40.
Wow.
They just got rid of one of their.
It's because he signed a long time ago, but it's increased. It's what they're hitting the bad part of it.
Right.
So they just got rid of one of their. I think one of their tackles, and then it went to their salary cap went to $4 million.
The cap hit is Matt Ryan 40, Aaron Rodgers 37, Russell 32, Kirk Cousins 31, Tannehill 29. Base salary, Goff 25, Tannehill 24, Garoppolo 24, Matt Ryan 23. So he's getting 23 this year, but he counts against the cap 40 because the signing bonus was spread out over those years, so you still got to count 17 against. So this year he got to count 17 of his signing bonus against this year's cap.
Can I just have $1 million of that?
Yeah, right.
I mean, could you imagine being Dak? You'd be like, well, I'm only going to make $66 million plus my salary this year.
Zach, second place in total cash this year is Jared Goff, $27 million. Dak Prescott is first at 75.
That's just ridiculous.
They're giving
I honestly didn't know if they would sign.
$75 million this year.
If he gave
He
some of
broke
us
his
just
ankle.
$1 million of that.
Listen, he broke his ankle, fell off in front of national television. His team was 1-3, and the only win was when y'all dumbasses couldn't jump on a onside kick.
That game pissed me
Atlanta
off.
game.
He would have
I
been.
hated that game.
Dak would have been 0-4 with a leg that fell off, Zach,
And
and you're giving him $75 million cash.
if Ron Rivera would have been there, they wouldn't give it to him because he'd said, well, I don't know if he's going to get hurt again.
Right. Right. We're going to talk about that nonsense.
Ron Rivera's house would have burned down again.
But
Oh, my God.
if it wasn't for the dumbass Falcons, though, he would be 0-4.
I remember that was a
Falcons
horrible
don't
game.
know how to win. That's why.
He would be 0-4. Yeah, I don't know if it's not y'all know how to win. Y'all know how to lose.
Yeah.
It's like y'all know what's the only way we can lose this game? Like the
They
Yetis
know
the
how
other
to-
day. We go 7 straight runs and see what happens. Like, it's just crazy. Contract value, Patrick Mahomes, $450 million. Dak Prescott, $160.
What's Russell Wilson's?
He's not top 5. Biggest workout bonus goes to David, somebody I can't pronounce his name.
Didn't he have 4 trade offers?
Who?
Russell Wilson.
He's got 4 that he's picked out if they give him to him. All right, here's an interesting, Zach. Percentage of cap. How about that? Prescott will be 22% of the cap. He's number 2 in the NFL, right behind Pat Mahomes. Deshaun Watson is 3. Aaron Rodgers 4. Russell Wilson 5. So this is the point that people have to make when they talk about this Dak thing. So Zach, do you spend 22% of your cap on somebody with 1 playoff victory?
I'm not a fan of spending 22% of my cap on anybody. I don't care who it is because
right.
Like, we've had this discussion before, and I know Andy Dalton didn't look that good this year. But would you not rather have an Andy Dalton for $10 million and $30 million worth of more players?
Right.
To put it right, I mean, to me, it don't make any sense. Now, unless you're just this super elite guy, but Dan Marino couldn't win by himself. I mean, you go spend all that money on your one person, you can't put anything around him.
Andy Dalton last year, Zach went 4-5 in Dallas with one of the worst defenses in the NFL and a fat running back and no tight end. Now, you can say what you want to. Oh, look how they did with Andy Dalton after Dak went out. They were 1-3 with Dak. And again, that one was these. Let's see if I can point. If I point this way to Tanner on the screen, it looks different. Let me point Tanner this way.
Yeah.
These dumbasses didn't jump on an onside kick. We're talking about the Atlanta Falcons. Tanner's a Falcons fan, so we're giving him shit about that. 14 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That's not great, but I mean that's if you double it out, Zach, do you take a guy who throws 28 touchdowns and 16 picks? 62%. Again, with a bad team and bad offense. I'm not out in here saying Andy Dalton.
The crazy thing is, you wonder why they have a bad offense. They have one of the best offensive lines supposedly in the league. They're supposed to have one of the best running backs, but he's fat and he eats too much.
Yeah.
They have a wide receiving core that should be elite. They do not have a tight end. That's hurting them. They tried, bring Witten back.
So Dalton started his career with 5 straight winning seasons, Zach. He has not had a winning season since 2015. So it's been 5 years since Dalton had a winning season. He still is 8 games over 500 in his career, though. That's how much winning he did earlier in Cincinnati. And then when I brought that up on another show this week, they were like, well, how many playoff games did he win? I'm like, I mean, if you want to hold his playoff games in Cincinnati against him and not Marvin Lewis.
There's a reason they didn't win.
And Pac-Man Jones.
Every year they got to the playoffs, he got hurt.
Yeah, and who's the idiot linebacker that got kicked out all the time?
Oh, Perfect?
Yeah. So,
but
come on.
Honestly, you look at it. His last 2 playoff, he either hurt his hand or his thumb. He couldn't play.
Yeah.
And he tried to play, but if he was healthy, they could have won those games. They were a couple good Cincinnati teams.
Got beat by Houston twice. Phillip Rivers, and I'm guessing that's Andrew Luck. Yeah.
Colts.
Yeah.
So, depending on what year it was, I mean, it could have been Peyton.
But that's the argument. Is Dak worth that much more than Andy Dalton? And I don't think so. I don't think any quarterback is.
If you had heard Michael Irvin last night on the Stephen A. show, you would think he was Tom Brady.
Right. It's weird. Like, why do people get excited about re-signing players
when you ain't won with him?
Right. You haven't won anything with him. It's
like, oh yeah, we're gonna give him $40 million. Now we're gonna win.
Yeah, like if they would have given him 35. Oh, hey, we got Dak Prescott. Like, what's the worst that would have happened if they wouldn't have had Dak? I don't get it. I don't know.
They didn't make the playoffs with him once. First year.
He's got 1 playoff win in his career. So remember, Zach, 5 years ago, without ever seeing nothing more than 1 game, Tanner, and they said, we're keeping Dak Prescott in there over Romo, I said, I'm done immediately because, one, you're not winning. A rookie quarterback's not winning the Super Bowl. So that year they decided we're throwing this whole year down the trash. No matter what, we're throwing it down the trash. The year before, guess what? That was the Des Bryant called it game. If the refs don't mess that up, we're in the NFC Championship game. Maybe even a Super Bowl. You don't know. But the refs screwed that up. Then the next year, Romo gets hurt, and then they don't put him back in. And you're not supposed to lose. One, you're not supposed to lose a job to injury. Two, especially if you're the franchise quarterback. Three, to a rookie. And then they left him in, and I said, they're going to lose in playoffs, they're going to lose in playoffs, they're going to lose in playoffs. I'm not stupid. They're going to lose in the playoffs. Come on. They lost in the playoffs.
I think they were 14-2 that year, wasn't they?
Yeah, they had a fantastic team. They had a team that could win the Super Bowl, and what I knew that the reason they were trashed is when they said, we're going to play the rookie and not the veteran. And no.
Didn't he get hurt a lot? Didn't Romo get hurt a lot?
No. See, Tanner's one of these victims. It's not your fault, Tanner. It's called victim to ESPN. Like, if I walk down the street and ask anybody who had a better career, Romo or Cam Newton, most people's going to say Cam Newton. It's not even close. Romo never had a losing record in his career. In 9 starting seasons, Tanner, guess how many Cam had? 6. 6 losing seasons.
Because Cam's trash.
Well, there you go on that one.
I hate Cam Newton.
Don't tell it to a lot of Panther fans.
But so Romo's career record 78-49.
Oh yeah, he was good. I mean, they were. I think for the most part he was 9-7, 10-6 every year. If you do the math, that's about probably what that comes out to be.
So 16 games, 13 games, 16 games, 6 games got hurt. 16, 16, 15, 15. So of the
broke his collarbone, I think at one
1,
time.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I remember when he broke his collarbone.
Of the 9 years he was basically the quarterback of the team, he played 13 or more games. 16 3 times, 15 3 times. 16 4 times. He played 16 4 times.
And they replaced him with Dak Prescott.
Right. So Dak comes in his playoff career here.
He's won 1 playoff game.
He's won 1. He beat Russell Wilson by 2 points, 24-22, and then got beat by Jared Goff in the next week. So I think that was the game. Zeke probably had like 700 yards rushing.
I feel like Zeke does more than Dak.
In that game, Zac 137 yards, 1 touchdown.
That's when Zeke could run the football.
32 receiving yards.
That's when Zeke wasn't eating Golden Corral every day.
Like, so look, Dallas. I told him 5 years ago, like, I could quit. Tanner, I quit pulling for them, knowing that you're not putting that guy in and they're going to win. And pulled for a team that was 0-16. I could look at the team that's 0-16 and say, they're in a better situation. And they all laughed at me. And I'm saying, look, I'm just watch. I know quarterbacks, I can sit there and watch them. You can't bench Drew Brees, Zach, can you? And think they're gonna think they're gonna get better. The Big Ben's like, what are they gonna bring in and make? Like this doesn't. I don't know why it doesn't compute. When Big Ben wasn't there, they went 8-8 or 7-9. When he was there, they won 12 games. Simple as it can be.
Yeah, and you look at Brady and the Patriots. Brady was there last year. They good. He left this year. They had Cam.
Belichick's won 1 playoff game in his life, and it was against the Cleveland Browns. It was for the Cleveland Browns in '94 against Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots. He has never won a playoff game without Tom Brady.
He didn't win with Matt Castle, did he?
No, they didn't make the playoffs. They won 10 games, but they missed the playoffs.
So is he going to get rid of Cam now too?
Oh, Cam's gone.
Yeah, Belichick's
Cam needs to be a tight end.
Again, folks, Bill Belichick's only playoff win in his career was with the Cleveland Browns in '94, and he beat Drew Bledsoe with the Patriots.
Who was his quarterback?
In '94?
Kozar?
No, it was crap. If you wouldn't ask me, I'd have told you.
Wasn't Dilfer, was it?
Shit, Zach. You know Kozar wasn't that good.
No, he wasn't. He's the best they had, though.
Right, it's Testaverde.
Was it really?
Who even is I don't even know who that even is.
Say that again.
Vinny Testaverde.
You know who
Number
Vinny
one draft
Testaverde
pick
is?
for the
No.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Before Tom Brady, there was Vinny Testaverde. That's as simple as I can say it. Zach, am I right, Zach?
Yeah, he was supposed to be the savior of Tampa Bay Bucks. Poor guy got drafted by him. I think that was the year after they won like one game.
Mm-hmm.
And you got put. They were so bad. Bo Jackson said he wouldn't go play for them.
Right.
He went back in the draft after he was going to be drafted like first overall or something. You know what I'm saying?
So Testaverde played till
Bo
he was,
Jackson was a beast too.
so he played till he was 44 years old.
Yeah,
His last team was the Panthers.
that's right. And he actually won with us.
He was his last year at 44 years old. He went 2-4 in Carolina.
He's a big guy, 6'5", 235.
Zach
He had 46,000 yards, and he had a winning record.
No, he didn't.
275, 26. Oh, that's. Oh, sorry. That was touchdowns and interceptions. Where's his record at?
He's 90 and 123.
I missed that. That was touchdowns and interceptions. He had more touchdowns than interceptions.
Barely.
Go look up Willie Green's old stats when he played.
You don't want to see
Wide
that.
receiver Willie Green.
You don't want to see
Yeah.
that. So Vinny he played till he was 44. Zach, in 20 seasons, he had 2 winning seasons. He went 12-4 with a 35 years old with the Jets, and 10-6 with the Jets. I think both of those they made the AFC Championship game, didn't I?
Well, the poor guy played for the Bucks and the Jets. So that's
So back to Big Ben for a sec. How about this, Zach? Ben, in his career, this is a Yadier Molina type stat. In his career, he only had 1 season with a losing record, and they went 7-8.
Yeah.
In his career, Big Ben only had 1 season with a losing record, and he went 7-8. So he missed it by 1 game. So he's never went like 5-11, 4-12. So again, who are you bringing in? These young guys, I'm not impressed by them at any of these young guys at all. Like they just don't. I just don't get it for me. All right,
They're gonna go draft Justin Fields.
Okay, well. All right, Zach. Let's see if that quarterback was. It was Testaverde. So Testaverde beat Drew Bledsoe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at on a cold day
That's pretty impressive.
in New England. 40 degrees.
Football's so hard to play in the cold too.
Browns were favored by 3 on the road, Zach. Testaverde goes 20 of 30, 268, no picks, and 1 touchdown. Bledsoe threw 50 passes, 21 of 50. 3 interceptions.
That's surprising. You said Testaverde or Bledsoe?
Bledsoe threw 3
Bledsoe
picks.
he's an underrated guy. I always liked Bledsoe.
He was a poor man's Marino.
I think so. That's a good. They were very
they're-
similar in the way they moved,
Yeah.
the size, the way they threw the ball.
Oh, I mean, exactly the same.
yeah, I ain't never thought about that, but you're probably dang good with that.
So here's Ron Rivera talking about Alex Smith. It was always in the back of my head. What if he gets hurt again? What if he hurts that leg again? I'll be the guy that put him back on the field to get him hurt again.
Oh, my
I struggled with that
really?
every day. That was tough. If he wants to play, why do you care? I don't get it.
Anybody can. Joe Theismann went out there and his career was ended too. What's the odds of it happening again?
All right. Yeah, they didn't want me. Alex Smith talking about they didn't want me there. So
They were that Cleveland team was 11-5 that year.
like if they didn't want him, why didn't they just cut him? They didn't have to play him. There was no rule or anything that said they had to play him. They could have cut him.
Who is this?
Alex Smith. All right, Zach, you're a Panthers fan. Thomas Davis and Greg Olsen set to retire as Panthers. Should Cam go ahead and join them?
No, I don't want him to retire as a Panther.
Now, as far as that goes, who cares?
I'm not a Panther. I mean, a Cam fan.
You know what I mean?
I love Thomas Davis.
I mean, like, as far as retiring
Yeah,
as a, like,
that don't make no sense.
like, again, what kind of, like, pat on the back are we doing?
Steve Smith's the one that got screwed.
Like,
He
yeah.
should have been a Panther his whole life. Those guys, Thomas Davis probably should have. Greg Olsen, I don't really care too much about him.
He played
Not
with
one
the
of my
other
biggest
team.
fan of Greg Olsen. Love Thomas Davis. He should have retired instead of going and playing somewhere else. My opinion on him.
Saints released Emmanuel Sanders.
He'd be a good pickup for somebody else.
Bills cut Brown. Let's see. Anything else across the NFL news? You think Russell Wilson ends up anywhere?
The rumor is Chicago. I just don't see how Chicago's got the capital to get him because they've traded so much for Mack.
For who?
Khalil Mack.
Oh.
Remember they gave up so much for Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
But they are saying Seattle is a destination he wants to go. Is it a possibility that they sign Dak to trade Dak for Russell Wilson?
I don't think so. I think
Trade Dak for Deshaun Watson.
I think that would have already been the announcement.
Think so?
Yeah, that would. If now that they've signed him and hadn't did anything, he's there for 4 years. Congratulations, NFC East.
Before trade offers.
I don't know if you are or not, but I love Russell Wilson.
I like him. If Washington Alex Smith went 5-1 last year. Like if they get Gardner Minshew or
if they got Russell Wilson
or Sam Darnold
they're winning the division.
I'm just talking about anybody regular average. Like, are they not the favorites next
got a
year?
great
As long as they get a decent quarterback. XFL and CFL talk a potential partnership.
I'm done with both. I'm done with XFL. I've done tried twice. I think The Rock owns XFL now.
I think so.
I'm done with that.
You said The Rock's on there now.
He owns them.
I don't know about ever being excited for it, but I think that this country needs minor league football big time. The college kid, like baseball, there's tons of leagues you can play in and play minor league baseball. Basketball, you've got at least the DL or G League, whatever it's called now. The football, how do you
got G League and the European League too?
European League's producing some good players.
We have such a gap. So we got 44-year-old quarterbacks win the Super Bowl, and the 20, 25-year-olds get picked in the first round. The next year or two, they're getting traded, and not wanted. So it's just funny how we give all these speeches about all this potential. This guy's this guy that, and the very next year we're cutting him. To me, with the roster sizes and the amount of money you got to spend, so Zach, if you're paying your starter $20 and like Chase Daniels is the backup, you're paying your backup anywhere from $5 to $10 million. So you're spending $30 to $40 million on your quarterbacks. Well, and you only got 53 on your roster. Well, where's your development supposed to be? There is none. It's not that there's a little. There is zero quarterback development in the NFL.
Right.
Like you come in, you get drafted, you're expected to play, or you're expected to learn a little bit and then participate, then jump in. But there's almost zero. Like you used to stash a guy as your third string quarterback. Romo was stashed as a third stringer at first.
Yeah, like he didn't throw his first pass till 3 years after he got on the team. He was a practice squad guy.
Right. And so the reason I want the CFL, I want the XFL, we need a minor league system to make these quarterbacks better. You go in these drafts, how are we missing on quarterbacks so bad? And you sit there and look at the list. Well, think about how random it is. If they're supposed to be the best quarterbacks in the country, why aren't they at the best schools, the best football schools? Why is Trey Lance from San Diego State or North Dakota State in Carson Wentz? How is Romo getting not drafted at Eastern Illinois?
Right.
How's Tom Brady last into the 6th round? With no development from these guys. So colleges, Zach, do they have any incentive to develop you for the pros?
No, they're
Unless it's like a big school.
They have no incentive.
and
like
a lot of these,
Nick Saban, I'm trying to win football games and trying to win. I don't care who.
They want to win college.
He don't care one rat's ass who the quarterback is.
That's why they ain't produced one. And it's a system.
How many good quarterbacks have ever come out of Ohio State?
It goes back to system. You know, a lot of your good
Michigan's
quarterbacks
probably
are
had
coming
the
out
most quarterbacks. And then, and then your other guys come from different places all over the place.
It ain't never Miami.
Where's Patrick Mahomes? Which school did he go to? Texas Tech. Not Texas. Texas Tech. Vince Young came out of Texas and was a bomb in the NFL. Like and that's what I mean by that is that how can we have no development in the NFL? Then you look at the colleges and those guys aren't for 1 second thinking about developing you for the NFL. They're trying to win, get recruits, and make money that way. So there's no pipeline to develop quarterbacks in a way to get ready for the NFL. And
The only
it's
schools
hard.
that really do is like Clemson and Alabama, and they develop them a little bit, but not much.
Name me one good Alabama quarterback.
I don't watch Alabama football,
That's
so
what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know.
That's what I'm saying.
Even
There
if you
isn't.
watched Alabama football, you wouldn't be able to name me a good
Who's it, Joe
Alabama
Namath? Did he go there? Didn't somebody like that go there?
quarterback. I don't think so. The only one I could remember is the guy that's in the NFL right now. He's a backup.
Jalen Hurts is in Philadelphia. But he
He
go
was
somewhere
Oklahoma.
else?
He went
to
going to
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. He was Alabama, but he got transferred.
first,
and then
yeah.
you got Tua. He sucks. So,
Tua's trash.
Oh gosh.
is he the one with the funny throwing motion?
Yeah,
Okay.
because he played baseball. He got drafted.
No, Zach's talking about something else. You ever seen Scary Movie?
I've seen one of them.
The Scary Movies? So this is what we're talking about with him, with Tua. Is Tua's offhand. You ever seen a quarterback do this?
What the freak?
Right. What is that? So, Scary Movie, handsy. That's Tua's offhand.
Ever pass.
Have you ever seen this movie?
No.
So, I'm gonna pull it up because we've done this before, but whatever. It just drives me crazy as someone who's throwing a football. Why does his offhand look like that? Does his offhand not look like Tanner when he gets hit? He's gonna go, ah.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
When he gets hit, he's gonna go, ah.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he's gonna hee when he gets hit. Now look at that hand. Now tell me, folks,
That's the sound
That is
Justin
not the
Fields
exact
does when
same
he gets hit
hand.
too.
as Scary Movie handsy.
Oh.
So
That's
Tanner
awesome.
here is young and hadn't seen these movies. So these are scary
Spoofs. They're
scary movies are
spoofs
spoofs of
Scream.
of haunted
Was the Scream movie.
Yeah,
but they kind of lumped them
a
all
horror
in.
movie.
Yeah, I've seen some of them, but I ain't seen that one.
So Chris Elliott plays this guy Hansy in this movie, and he's the caretaker of the house. And he like mix up mashed potatoes with his hand, and he'll like touch you with his hand.
yeah, I do remember seeing that now.
He's like, "Ah," it's
I remember
funny.
seeing that now.
It's he's good. He's a good.
I did this with my strong hand. He said, "Can I get it?" And that guy, he can't walk. He said, "Can I get a standing ovation?"
He's almost
Horrible.
like
Horrible.
Randy.
Bad.
He's almost like Randy Quaid,
It's-
where he gets
it's,
typecast.
It's not politically correct.
No, but he's funny. And so speaking of that, I was showing some guys yesterday. Who was
Yeah, I couldn't walk in the movie, and he asked him if he played in the movie Stomp.
Are you talking about the handicap guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a handicap guy, and they were arguing back and forth to each other, talking junk.
He's like, you in the movie Stomp?
Golly.
That's horrible, ain't it?
Yes.
Funny.
I can't remember where I was going with it now because I was going somewhere else. So anyway, there's Tua's hand. It looks like handsy, and it's not good. And I wouldn't have a quarterback that looked like that. I wouldn't have a quarterback with long blonde, flowing hair. I don't want a quarterback that's offhand looks like handsy when he gets hit, when he throws the football. So no Trevor Lawrence for me.
Why?
That's a bust if I've ever seen one.
All right, wait till he gets
I just want
drafted
y'all to
and goes
remember
and
this.
balls out.
Zach, you think anybody said Jamarcus Russell was going to be a bust before his draft?
No.
Trevor Lawrence is not going to be a bust
What makes you think that?
because he's a beast.
I think he relies on his legs way too much. And when he gets in the NFL, what's going to happen? Blown up. Here's some number one picks. How about Jamarcus Russell, Tim Couch, David Carr, Jared Goff? If I'd have said any of them was going to be awful before they were picked. But people, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, you go
people,
back.
you never, when you're right about something, Zach, people never go back. What's hard about saying, like the other day, I told somebody the Hornets will never win a playoff series with LaMelo Ball on the roster, and whether or not I'm right or not, if I am, it takes 5 to 10 years to go back and and prove I'm right.
Right.
And the other people get to say, oh, no, like Tanner just said, like, oh, Trevor Lawrence, no. Just watch.
And we talk about Mel Kiper and who's the other guy? Todd McShay.
Mel Kiper. Tanner said he was going to retire.
Always be wrong.
He would quit, never do it again if Jimmy Clausen was a failure in the NFL. Did he not?
Yeah, and he said that Trent Dilfer was going to be the best quarterback we ever saw.
Yep. He won a Super Bowl.
He did. I mean, he was serviceable, but
he said he's going to retire, quit, never do it again.
Jimmy
if Jimmy Clausen was not a success in the NFL. You still see his ass up there, don't you?
Every year.
Greasing that hair up for $2 million a year. I'd be up there too.
Some big money. I was thinking of the 1999 NFL draft. Achilles Smith come to my mind.
Oh, Joey Harrington.
Tim Couch was the first pick. Went to the Browns. Poor Browns. Donovan went second. Donovan McNabb. So and he got booed for getting picked second. You remember Donovan? They did not want him. I think they wanted Ricky Williams.
Probably.
And then Ricky got the Saints. Mike Ditka traded their whole draft, for a running back going to move up. He just said, we're going home. And then Ricky Williams started smoking weed, and the rest is history. But in that draft, it was a good draft. Tim Couch went first, Donovan McNabb. Then you had Achilles Smith, Edgerrin James, Ricky Williams, Torrey Holt is excellent, Champ Bailey, David Boston, Dante Culpepper was at 11. But another bad quarterback, Cade McNown. Everybody said Cade McNown's going to be great.
Whatever's picked, listen, the 6 guys picked in the first round this year, 3 of them are going to suck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
because everybody's going to. You said this. You might pick 4 quarterbacks in the first round, so you're getting the 4th best quarterback if you're picking a quarterback in the first round. If you're the last one picking,
right? You're basically picking a 4th round quarterback, right?
And I agree with you 100%. Why don't you always pick for the best available player at the position if he's there?
Right. So let's say you do what you just said.
That's what I wish Falcons would do, but they never do.
Right. So let's say I pick the 4th best quarterback in the first round. Well, then the second round, I got to pick the 2nd or 3rd best wide receiver, or the 4th best wide receiver, or the 2nd or 3rd best whatever, instead of picking best.
They should do it. They should do it where it's like more than the rounds they have, and like make them choose a certain player from every position.
Okay. That would be kind of a weird setup.
Yeah, but it'd be better than having.
All right, Zach, NBA All-Stars and stuff. Hunter got some of his thoughts in there. A couple of things I want to go over with you. I'm pretty sure you feel the same way. I hate not having East-West.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's stupid.
Kind of like a pickup game.
You have nothing to pull for. So let's make some rules and changes for the All-Star game. I want to start with a dunk contest. Number 1, no dunkers that are not All-Stars.
Right?
How you feel about that? That used to be the whole point of the weekend.
Who won?
That you come to the All-Star weekend, you see Dr. J against whoever, Michael Jordan against Dominique.
Well, you got these no names that's coming up now, Duncan.
It was all rookies basically, and they did some good dunks. But if you've never heard of them, like Zach LaVine this year is averaging a shooting guard for the Chicago Bulls is averaging 28 points a game. We don't even know it, and can dunk out of the gym. And
didn't he win twice?
Knows. Yeah, he's already won 2 dunk contests. A fantastic kid. And
who won it this year?
But he was on the All-Star team. Who won what? The All-Star?
No,
the dunk contest.
I don't know the kid.
I don't even know who it was. I know Steph won 3-point contest.
Right.
He went off in that.
So on the dunk contest, a couple of rule changes. One they got right this year. The judges were actually people who could dunk a basketball. Like in the past, you've had WNBA players, celebrities, and things like that. That's just insane to me. That don't make any sense. What about also assigning pre-points to a dunk? So like in gymnastics or synchronized swimming or the ski jumping or like rollerblading or anything that you do tricks on, almost always that trick is assigned a point value before you do the trick. So even in skateboarding, say if you do a 360 or 1080, you know if I do a 1080 and land it, I'm going to get a perfect score. See what I mean? Or if I do a 360, I'm going to get a 7. So basically you would come into the dunk contest and be like, I'm going to do Vince's 99 dunk, and then know you can get a 50 on it. If I do it right, I get a 50. If I do it wrong, I get a 45 or 47. It just goes lower than that. But what I'm saying is that, what do you think about pre-assigning points per each dunk? So you know, so you're not going to have, like I said, a judge sitting here, I'll give it a 7, and the guy sitting next to him gives it a 10. Like those aren't even compatible with what you say. So what do you think about something like to that nature?
Basically, all you're doing just giving it you're kind of giving it a rating system.
Right, before you do it. In all other, like I said, all other sports that do judging for that already do that.
And give them, if you did that, I would still want to give them one dunk in the All-Star, in the contest that might be new. Mm-hmm. So you can still come up with, the Vince Carter dunk, the Jordan dunk, all the Jordan didn't do that. Honestly, it was Dr. J that did that dunk.
What about dunk horse?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I wouldn't mind seeing horse in the All-Star game.
Well, people like to see horse too, but as far as dunk horse goes, let's think about this. Let's back it up. Anytime I ever participated in any type of a dunk contest, that's how we ended up doing it, was horse. Because your idiot buddies and stuff or whatever, who knows, you're the judge, you're going to give me an 8.5. Come on, I don't know what the hell we're talking about. But we used to do it like, I'll do this dunk and then you do it, and then we'll play to like car or pig. We'll play pig or horse, but do it that way. What do you think about maybe doing that?
Yeah.
All right, 3-point wise, couple of things I want to do. I want to take the corner threes out of the game.
Because it's shorter?
Yes. I want to extend that line straight to the out of bounds, how it naturally should go. The circle?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a semicircle, but the court's not as wide enough for it to be a semicircle or a half circle. So what I'm saying is that just extend those out into the out of bounds markers where they're naturally supposed to go and make a corner. And then when you kick the ball to the corner, there is no corner three. That guy has to make a basketball move, like do something besides just stand there and be 7 foot tall. What do you think about that? That's actually basketball play, just not all-star play. I'm just saying NBA in general.
I want the
It would
biggest thing.
change the game a lot.
Well, it would back up those 3-point guys.
Yeah.
It would it would open up. It would bring the post back in the game.
Yeah.
Because that guy couldn't just kick it out to the corner. What is LeBron's thing now? Drive to the middle
and
then kick it to Porky Pig in the corner.
The biggest thing I don't like is the ball worth 2. The money ball.
Oh, you talking about an All-Star. I was just talking about regular basketball. I'm talking about regular basketball.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that either.
Okay. Well, if say let's say the 3-point line stays the same, as far as the All-Star game goes on the 3-point line, we were talking the other day about what do you think about having racks in different spots than where they are? Like, have 2 spots behind the 3-point line near half court and put 2 racks back there. Or what about a catch and shoot spot instead of a rack spot?
If you put the racks back there, I still want them to count the same. I don't want them to count double.
Okay, whatever.
Because the reason I want that is because I still think it matters about how many shots you hit, not getting double points for
a random ball.
Because like if you hit 5 of the, is it 5 stations they shoot at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shoot at 5 stations, you hit all your money balls. That's 10. Well, what if the other guy missed all his money balls, but he hit more overall than you did? It don't seem fair to me.
Yeah.
Like that's just my opinion.
So you could hit.
I want it to be on total balls. He had no money balls.
You could have 20 made shots, and the other guy only make
10 of money balls.
10. Well, no, he'd have 10 points, and he'd have to make 10 more. So he would have to make 16 shots to beat you instead of the 20.
And I don't like it.
Let's make them do a full court shot.
Well, that was one of the things brought up is like, do you put a rack back there, way back there into the timeline or half court? I like a catch and shoot option on one of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like instead of picking a ball off a rack and shooting, is like the most unnatural thing ever. Like you're either catch, turn and pop, or you're going off a dribble or something. There's no dribbling in this 3-point contest. Like, who said it has to be 1 minute? Like make it a minute and a half, and you can take a dribble or 2 or do something. I don't know, just different stuff. The dunk contest, I want to see the stars, and I was thinking about not just horse. What if you did a team competition, Zach, where you said, you give me East gets 7 dunkers, West gets 7 dunkers, and but it's still horse. So the first guy goes up and does something, second guy's got to match it. The next guy's got to match the next. You know what I mean? So you play like a horse, but team dunking instead. I was just trying to think of something different.
The dunk
than having
contest
rookies out there doing stuff
has
that you've never heard of.
They should have put Zion in it.
The dunk contest hadn't been fun for me in a long time, and it should be. That should be the funnest thing. It used to be my favorite thing to watch was dunk contest. Now I like the 3-point contest.
There should be. You have to do an alley oop.
Some of the stuff they do is just stupid.
They should set certain dunks for them on some of them.
All right. We talked a little bit Monday. I keep thinking about Tanner. He wasn't here Monday, so it was just me and Hunter. Me and Hunter talked Monday about Space Jam 2 a little bit. You want any of that action or not?
I'm not really familiar with it. I will not watch it.
All right.
I don't like LeBron.
Because
I don't like LeBron James.
So let me tell you the story.
I'm definitely watching it.
Have you seen the controversy, first of all, on some of the characters? On Pepe Le Pew or Lola Bunny? All right. So which one you want first? You want Pepe, Lola,
Well, Pepe's my favorite.
or the story?
So I like Pepe
or the
Le Pew.
storyline? Which one do you want?
The storyline?
Which one of the three do you want me to make you mad first about, Zach?
Probably Pepe Le Pew.
All right. Pepe Le Pew has been kicked off because he's a rapist.
So they cancel Pepe.
Yeah, Pepe's a rapist, is what they say. Now, I was telling Hunter, I was like, if Zach was here, he'd probably agree with me. Under no circumstances, at no time in my life, as a child, teenager, or an adult, did I say, damn, they need to get that skunk off that cartoon because he's running around raping people, raping kitty cats. I thought the premise of the story, Zach, was it's hard to find love when you smell like shit. Like, is that not what we were talking about? I thought that was the point, was that was the gag, was that a skunk who stinks wants to be in love and find love, and you can't find love when you smell like that, I would imagine. And I always thought that
Never
was the
thought
gag.
of it. So for me, I would just think that he was smitten with this girl and he was lavishing everything he could on her. He's like this romantic, you watch him and he's like, kiss, kiss, kiss.
Oh, it's
kiss,
it's
kiss.
French, yeah, too.
Yeah.
He's like if you've ever seen the Addams Family, it reminds you of the what's Adams daddy's Gomez?
Yeah.
How he does with Morticia.
So
That's who I think. I think of Gomez when I see him. Like I said, the whole gag is it's a skunk, and then most of the cartoons are a cat getting white paint on it.
now the funny thing is
And they've turned it into he's a rapist.
Even
God
the super
almighty.
liberals that are pushing the cancel culture, even the super liberals pushing the cancel culture, like, can we really stop with the cancel? Well, finally, it's going to get to you guys because if they'll cancel anybody.
At some point, it turns around and comes back around. But Pepe, yeah. So
you talking about the bunny girl?
So Lola, Zach. First of all, if your name is Lola, what are the expectations going into something? She might be a feminine lady.
Right?
Might be I don't know, even a hooker or something. I don't know. But Lola, the name Lola, is not synonymous with, like, wholesomeness, I would say. But so, anyway, I don't know what they did or what they're doing, but they've taken the curves away from Lola Bunny.
They just ruined it.
And it's been a big argument online. They've made her look more like
Bugs.
yes. Yes, is all I can say.
They just ruined that whole movie now.
So it's, and then of course, Tanner said they ruined the whole movie, but
LeBron ruined the whole movie. Steph should have been the star.
No, they should have just brought MJ back and let him.
Oh my, that'd be
be in
horrible.
it.
So if Bugs is supposed to be attracted to Lola, is kind of what I'm getting at here, right?
Right.
Like that's the whole thing. Again, the thing with Pepe is that he's a smelly skunk looking for love. Lola is supposed to be a good-looking bunny
It's horrible.
for Bugs to lust after. So this is what they've done to Lola, Zach. So there's, I'm gonna pull her up. Whoops, get my computer. All right, so there's Lola. Got a few little curves, right? There's the new Lola body. As soon as I find her head, I'll pull it up for you. But that's what it changed from, if you could tell. And that's the controversy, is that she's not Lola anymore. She's whoever this.
So when's this supposed to be coming out?
I don't know. So that's the controversy with Lola, Zach, is she went from curvy Lola. Look at the Toon Squad there too. She's got an arm sleeve. Like she has a shooting sleeve. They put a shooting sleeve on Lola Bunny. I can't even go there. So one other thing, the biggest joke on the internet about this though, Zach, was she's no longer the hottest rabbit. Jessica Rabbit's taken over, and she married into the rabbits. You know who Jessica Rabbit is, Tanner? Holly.
I've heard that name before, but I don't know.
She did. Was it her that framed Roger, Zach?
I'd have to go back and watch. It's been a long time since I watched that.
So you've ever seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit? No. Tanner? Oh, Lord. What do you do with your free time?
Make music. That's all I do.
So Jessica Rabbit was on Who Framed Roger Rabbit. There's Jessica Rabbit. Now she's the hottest rabbit. All right, Zach.
Not even a rabbit.
Yeah, she's not even a rabbit. But she married a rabbit. She married this rabbit. So, anyway, all right, Zach. So there's your. That's now you ready for the storyline of what Space Jam is? There's no aliens.
There ain't Space Jam then.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, it's not Space Jam.
LeBron and his son are visiting Warner Brothers Studios, and they're sucked into a server. Okay?
You got the sucked part right because this movie's going to suck.
Yeah, there you go. Somehow, a video game character in the game, played by Don Cheadle, kidnaps LeBron's son.
Now, is this Bronny or somebody else playing it?
It's somebody else is playing him. And a super enhanced version of LeBron video game style has to play against the other stars that were in the movie that have been put into the video game, stolen and put in the video game as well. So instead of aliens stealing their powers and it being about Space Jam, it's still called Space Jam, but they're in a server and they're video game players. So basically, from what I've read, it's a live action NBA Jam.
That's a horrible.
So NBA Jam is really what they're doing.
I'm glad they wrote it that way because it will really be worse by far than original.
NBA Jam is pretty much what it is. I don't know how else to explain that or talk or say that. I don't know where else to go.
I love NBA Jam, but it ain't Space Jam.
All right, Zach.
That's what they should have called it. They should have just called it
Zach,
NBA
I gotta walk
Jam.
down the hall just a second.
Okay.
Any specific thing with the NBA you want to talk Hornets
Shaq,
or anybody else?
No, I'll
right
talk
now?
about Shaq for a minute. He was talking about how everybody was a Jello pudding pop in the NBA now because they couldn't take criticism. You got so many people that come into the league, and when some of the better players like Shaq or the legends like Shaq or Michael or some of these other guys try to critique people, they don't take constructive criticism well, and that is the culture we live in today. Is younger people don't take constructive criticism really well. They actually get offended by it, and they're the snowflakes, and they go into their shell, and they can't deal with it because they don't like anybody telling them they suck. And so Shaq, he said he was using an example. He said, listen, he said, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar come in and said, okay, son, you are really this good, but you kind of suck doing this. And he said he had to take too bad he didn't tell him how to shoot free throws, but had to give him some constructive advice. And Shaq said he took it and he made him a better player. But I don't know why you wouldn't want to take criticism that's trying to help you. I deal with it a lot in the grocery business. When I have people that work for me, and I've done this job for 20 years, okay, and I know how to do the job. So I watch them doing it, and I can look at them and say they got potential, and I'm saying, okay, you have potential, but you don't know how to do what you're trying to do, and you're doing it backwards. If you just listen to the way I tell you and the steps I tell you to do it, you will be successful. And instead of saying, okay, I'll try it your way, I just say, you know what, I just like the way I do it, and you've hurt my feelings because you said I'm not doing it the right way, and it's not take somebody that's been doing it for years to understand. And then that's the same thing that we're dealing with at the NBA, the NFL, and all these other places is they don't do well when somebody tells them to to try to do it a different way. So I don't know how we've got to.
People are soft nowadays. That's
They
what
are.
it is.
It is, and it's sad because let's say if it's me and if somebody's working for me and I'm trying to make them better, I'm not trying to give them a hard time because I want them to continue to suck. I want them to be better because they make my team better. So, again, it's the way that now that we're doing everything, the way that we're bringing kids up, instead of, let's just say, discipline-wise, we do discipline a different way. You don't do this, you're going to get in a timeout, or vice versa. That's the way we do the NBA stars today. I was telling him about Shaq.
What do you do?
Shaq said all these players today are like Jell-O pudding pops. He said they're soft. And he said, you give them constructive criticism, and you're a legend, and they don't like what you say. Mm-hmm. And they're a bunch of snowflakes. And he said, I've took constructive criticism from Kareem, and I told Tanner, I said, too bad Kareem didn't tell him how to shoot a free throw. But that's where we are in today's time. So something's got to change because we're going progressively into everybody's offended. Whether it don't matter where you're at, somebody's going to be offended. And I remember back in any time that you're living your life, talking about how everybody's just offended now, I mean, it's getting to a point now where,
in general, or just the basketball?
I was
players?
talking about, but it's filtering into life. Like everybody's offended.
The in general
and
thing
it's just sad because there's got to be a point in time.
Let me try something. Have you ever heard of sticks and stones may break your bones?
Yes.
But words will never hurt you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think they teach that. How old are you? 24?
22.
22? I bet the people when you're younger than you were never taught that. Yeah, you're right, Zach. And the one thing that's scary about it, in general, is if you're talking about getting into society, it's not coming from the basketball players, obviously, but the freedom of speech, the First Amendment. One of the things I like to say, the First Amendment is the First Amendment because it's the most important. The Second Amendment is the Second Amendment because the first one don't work. You got to use the second one. Mm-hmm. People don't get, if you cannot speak out against your government, against your leader, you are nothing more than a slave. Mm-hmm. And I don't get what people don't understand about that. Like, if you couldn't have never spoke out against, what would have happened if we would have never spoke out against the Queen or used guns to protect this country, protect ourselves against the Queen? The freedom of speech thing really scares me more than anything, is because if you're not allowed to give your opinion, then that's a slippery slope. And one of the best things ever, Zach, is, I had a teacher say, it might have been Blackwater, he told us it's better to be quiet and let people think you're an idiot than to speak up and prove them right. You see what I mean?
Calvin Weehunt said, you got one mouth and two ears for a reason.
Right. You're supposed to listen twice as long as you talk. A lot of people say that. And
I'll use the Judah, for example. Okay? So he sees how some of these other kids talk to their parents. Mm-hmm. And we're riding home last night. Mm-hmm. He's trying to mimic them.
Right.
And I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, whoa. Because he's starting to go like, Dad on me. Mm-hmm. Like, he is telling me, well, because you wanted to go to Grandma's house, then I've lost this time on my Xbox, and I've done this, and this, and we shouldn't have done this. I said, whoa. Right now, I said, you're not going to talk to me like that. And he knew. He stopped. I'm sorry, Dad. I said, I don't care how your friends talk to your parents. You're not going to talk to me like that.
Yeah.
And we've got to that point in everything,
The freedom of speech is chilling. You should be able to speak up. And like I said, if you say something stupid, we should know. Like, if people aren't speaking up or aren't saying what they think and feel, it's a bad situation altogether. And to tell someone they can't say nothing, if you're too scared, like, the same people that argue that advertising doesn't work will say that brainwashing, as far as, like, okay, there was an artist this week, I'm not going to mention the band or anything. He read a book and he recommended it online that it said it was a good book. And that was it. And he's been, whatever you call, canceled. and all he did was read a book, and he may have to quit his band because he read a book. And if you're at that point, that's just insane to me that you can't learn, you can't hear. What are you scared? To me, Zach, and it's always been, if you want to shut down someone's speech, someone's opinion, someone's thoughts, that means you're in the wrong, right? Because what else would they be speaking out against? Why is their speech dangerous to you? The only thing it's dangerous to is your establishment and your power. And that's the whole point of freedom of speech is to bring power to the people and the public. And if you can't speak,
you talk about tolerance is only tolerance if in today's culture. If your belief matches my belief, that's their tolerance level. If it goes against that, then they're not tolerant.
Yeah, the name game, the word game. George Orwell, 1984, and the switching of words and stuff and the inferring of things. For example, Washington Post. There was a thing the other day that was showing a comparison between two different headlines when President Trump did something compared to President Biden. Trump gave us stimulus checks. The headline was, Trump approved stimulus checks so he can put his name on them. That was the headline. Biden's headline the other day was, Biden puts dent into poverty with $1,400 checks. Same check, same thing, same reason, and those were the different propagandas.
I'd say we're in the propaganda.
It's
world.
A propaganda thing, and the sports has gotten into that a lot. And we talk about the Mike Trouts of the world. And it's like they get on. And the thing with me, and then people roll their eyes about it when I say with Trout, is that, well, and a part of the reason I think Pujols left too. Who owns the Angels? Disney owns part of the Angels. Mm-hmm. ESPN has an incentive to get Pujols in Anaheim, to L.A., to get Trout on TV and talk about how great he is. They have an incentive for that. ESPN sits up there next to the Red Sox up in Boston. Well, who's been good the last 20 years? Boston teams all of a sudden?
Well, and like I said, you got that money
They
bags.
sucked ass for 20 years at everything.
Bags. You can do, you just keep throwing money at people.
It's a money thing.
Well, they didn't work for the Angels, though, because they threw money at Mike Trout and they didn't win a playoff game.
The only reason people looked at Boston was because Ortiz, wasn't it?
What do you mean looked at? Like they won.
They were loaded. They had Big Pop. They had Big Pop. You talking about? They also had Manny.
Manny Ramirez is a better hitter than David Ortiz ever wished he was.
Manny's
Ortiz wasn't good till he started taking roids, flat out.
What player doesn't take roids
flat out?
MLB,
Ortiz.
Johnny Damon was really good.
Yeah, he's all right. He had Tanner could probably throw it better left-handed than Johnny Damon could. He had the worst arm I've ever seen in my life. Well, you might be left-handed. I don't know.
No, I'm right-handed.
Okay.
I could never throw left-handed.
All right, Zach, NBA, looking across these, we kind of touched on Philadelphia's in first. Is anybody beating Brooklyn? I told Hunter from the start of the season, we shouldn't even talk about regular season because it's going to be Brooklyn and the Lakers no matter what.
I don't think the Lakers
can beat Brooklyn.
I don't think the Lakers
then they're going to talk about LaMelo.
I don't think the Lakers can beat Brooklyn because of the shooting.
I don't think anybody can beat Brooklyn.
The shooting.
Well,
I mean, you got.
I just think
Harden,
Kevin Durant's
and you
better
got
than LeBron.
Kevin Durant. And then if Kyrie's on, Blake Griffin does. He don't matter. You know, he's coming off the bench. That's just a name. They ain't even gonna put him in start lineup. So.
Wait, did he get traded to the Nets?
He got his contract bought out.
Yeah.
And then he chose to go to the Nets. So yes. Who's gonna outshoot Kevin Durant? I mean, Steph. Yeah.
Well, so I was trying to explain to Tom and to see Terry don't think they'll do good at all.
You don't
Terry
think the
says
Nets will
Kurt
do
Busch
good?
got 200 wins too.
Right. He doesn't think the Nets will do good at all because they can't guard anybody. But
they have three of the best players.
Right.
In the
I was
league.
trying to explain to Terry. Here's the thing about basketball, and Zach should agree with this: is that good teams have 2 stars, great teams have 3. When you go into the game, let's say you got LeBron. And we've got Durant. Well, if they cancel each other out, okay. Now you got Anthony Davis, and I've got Harden. Well, they cancel each other out. Well, which one of y'all motherfuckers is canceling out Kyrie Irving?
Yep. Because all they got is it's the got Schroeder.
Yeah.
That ain't equal.
Right.
Who else do they got?
So let's say
That's
that.
it. I mean,
Let's say they give up $120. Are you keeping them from getting $130? I mean, they're so good. It's you can go down the
let's say
line
this.
and mismatch for everybody.
Here's what I look at. You got LeBron, you got Anthony Davis. They're one dimensional. I'm not saying LeBron's all around, but I'm talking about LeBron's not going to hit 10 threes in a game. Harden can. Durant can. Anthony Davis is not. So there's potentially three guys on the Nets that can just be. There's three guys. They can be really, really hot. One and one's going to cancel each other out, and you're having to deal with the numbers difference. And
There's not been too many teams that the three different guys can get 30 a night.
Yeah.
I still think the Lakers are going to beat them.
I don't either.
I like the 2-star teams.
I don't. You think the Lakers can beat them?
Yes.
I don't think so. The Lakers are going in
Boy.
right now. The Lakers are having to go overtime to beat sorry teams.
LeBron is 2-1. No, 1-2 against Kevin Durant.
I still think he's a better player than Durant, though.
That's your opinion. That's your same opinion. Anyone under 25 years old.
Go look at the stats from every year between them two and see who's better.
Durant is.
No.
What stats you looking at?
Pretty much all of them, but I mean,
You looking at scoring?
mostly.
Well, Durant scores more than him.
How much more does he score than him?
I'm going to say about 4 points probably.
0.1 points a game. You
See,
got
that doesn't
career
even really
or all
mean
time?
much.
Or
Career.
this year. This year he's like
Career.
5 points ahead of him. Careers, he just overtook him this year.
Durant
LeBron
did.
had a 4 or 5 year head start on him.
Yeah.
And
They're both 24-13 this year, by the way, record-wise.
I feel like it's going to be a close game
121,
between them two, though.
121, 116, 111. Okay. They're both 24-13, both teams. Brooklyn averages 121 and gives up 116. Lakers average 111, gives up 106.
that's 10 points less a game
Yeah.
on both ends of the floor, offense and defense.
Both of them have a differential of 5.
So they're playing way slower. Nobody's going to score with the Nets. I don't think that's the issue. Like teams got to figure out how you going to.
They're the
I don't
top.
like-
They're number 1 in the league.
I'm not a Kyrie fan at all.
Number 1.
I'm not a Harden fan.
18. The second one in the league to them is
But you're a KD
Milwaukee.
fan?
I'm definitely a Durantula fan.
A
I
what?
think Kevin Durant. I think he's the greatest scorer the NBA's ever had, other than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think that if he didn't play with the 3 biggest ball hog point guards in NBA history, he could end up the all-time leading scorer himself.
And he needs to have a little bit more he needs to have a little bit more of an alpha personality.
My biggest problem with Durant always is he's got too much of today's kid in him. He can't take any criticism at all.
Yeah.
Which is fine if you can't take it and funnel it the right way. Jordan couldn't take criticism. But instead of bitching and whining about it and tweeting or whatever, I know there wasn't Twitter then, but like Jordan just walked on the court and put 40 on you.
Did they even give him much criticism as good as he was anyways?
Jordan got a lot of
He's a
criticism for
baller.
off the fields, off the court stuff.
You got so Tanner, remember up until Jordan won 6 rings, nobody said he was the greatest. So there was a ton of criticism. So what you guys get with LeBron isn't even close. Like there is no criticism of LeBron. 0. On TV, ESPN, you're not seeing anybody come on there and criticize him at all, ever. And that's not how Jordan was. They used to say Kareem was better. They used to say everybody used to say Magic Johnson was better until he took it from him. He just straight took it. And that's they didn't like his gambling. He was called a ball hog because he shot too much. You'll never win. He was called people for 10 years. Tanner, let's say he won in 91. So he was drafted in 85. So there's 6, 7. He didn't win until his 7th year is what it was. For 6 years, he was a ball hog that would never win. That was the story.
He was still a beast. I don't care.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But what you was asking is what the storylines were on it. And it was, he's an outstanding athlete. He'll never be a winner. And then it changed. I think everybody thought the Lakers were going to roll them when they played in that finals. And they whipped them in the first game. And then they came back and took them down. But
the Lakers had a good team that year too.
I think it's stupid how people say Jordan was never good in high school and stuff. I'm like,
I'm
like, are you retarded?
I got Will laughing at me the other day, Zach, because we was talking about that. Because he was Dennis brought it up about Jordan being cut in 10th grade, and I said this. I said, I know one thing. This guy wasn't cut in 10th grade. And Will's like, no. I had him on the screen because he was calling in from Raleigh. He's like, no, don't you do it, Kevin. Don't you do it. And I said, hey, all I know is Jordan got cut and I didn't. I'm better than him in 10th grade.
See, my dad played high school basketball against him, so.
Did
he? Yeah.
No, I mean, 100%, I think Kevin Durant is the most gifted offensive basketball player that we've ever had. And if he didn't play with them ball hog point guards, Russell Westbrook, Steph Curry, and now Kyrie Irving. What if he played with Stockton, Zach? Just think about that. What if John Stockton played with Durant instead of Karl Malone? Malone ended up the second leading scorer all time. Now put Durant running those same plays, but half of those are threes, or a third of them are threes.
Does Durant even shoot a whole bunch of threes anyways?
He can shoot from anywhere.
He's averaged 5 in his career. He makes 2 out of 5 in his career. That's his average per game.
What's that, 40%?
Yeah.
Most of those players that are his size drive a lot more, don't they?
Right, because they can't shoot like that.
The thing about Durant is he's so long and he's so tall.
Right.
When he shoots, he has a clear view of the basket, and his hands are so far up. Right. Nobody's blocking. I mean,
it's hard
he
to
has
block
nothing
that.
impeding, and he's a good shooter. So that's just a good combination.
So as far as the all-time leading scorers, let's think about that. Kareem's one. He had the sky hook.
Unblockable.
Karl Malone, most of his shots were open off the pick and roll. Dirk is 6th all time.
Big, tall guy.
He shot back here where you couldn't block it. Right? Artis Gilmore's 3rd.
From back here.
He did. He's the slowest motion.
Yeah, and you couldn't do nothing with it.
But it was smooth. You could watch him do it. And he's one of my all-time favorite players.
Luka reminds me a lot of that, how slow he is with it, and he still doesn't get blocked.
From like that, I'm going to tell one of my players to go behind them and block it from behind.
Both of them are slow basketball players. They're like slow motion basketball players.
NBA point per game. All right, so going through, Elgin Baylor's 3rd. He never gets enough credit for any of this.
Is he the one that averaged a triple-double? Was that Elgin?
He's the one that averaged the double-double. No, that's Oscar Robertson. Elgin's the only one on the list.
Is he the Knick?
He's like he's a Clipper and Laker. He's the only one on the list basically in the top 10 in scoring and rebound besides Wilt. Like it's Wilt and Elgin Baylor. Like he's in there. He averaged a double-double in his career. Elgin,
you have to sign up for this account.
6'5". I mean, he played back then. So Wilt, tall and bigger than everybody else. Durant, 7 foot and release than everybody else. LeBron, bigger, stronger. You got Iverson at 7. And then Jordan sitting there at 1 in points per game. And those two, you couldn't say, like, they didn't have a physical advantage over everybody. Jordan's best physical advantage you give him,
he's just athletic.
His hang time.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing that I don't think that scientists, I wish scientists, the sports science guys could somehow figure out.
How he didn't.
Because Barkley might have been the quickest up, down that you've about ever seen. But I'm talking when Jordan would go up, Zach, and they would hit him, and they would fall down and hit the ground, and he's still sitting there like,
yeah.
And then just finish it off. Like that. How do you do that? How do you make contact? Everybody else, I jumped before you. You jumped after. We hit. You hit the ground, and I'm still floating. It's amazing.
It is.
So
how much did Jordan weigh then?
About 195 was his playing weight. Let's see. It's got him listed at 6'6", 198. I think when he was with the Wizards, he's about 205.
And he's jumping with these guys that are way
taller than him.
And he's still knocking them on the ground.
You think about that. I'm 205, and I'm 5'11". Jordan looked fat when he played with the Wizards at 6'6", 205.
Yeah.
Weird. Because you would think that's slender for a 6'6" guy. Mm-hmm. So,
but he could still jump out the gym.
at that point, he was having trouble time.
No. He was floor Jordan's what they called him instead of Air Jordan.
He was navigating.
He was shooting fadeaways and everybody's grill.
They're
He was
gonna make a new
navigating-
shoe.
Yeah,
it was
he
just fade away,
navigating his
fade away,
shot.
fade away.
They're gonna
fade
make
away.
a new shoe called the Floor Jordan.
They should have back then. He wouldn't have approved that.
He probably would have because he would have got more money anyways.
So Durant, it's Durant is in front of LeBron now. Then Jerry West, Allen Iverson, Bob Pettit, Oscar Robertson, James Harden is now 10th all time at 25 a game. So he's moved up. Shaq at 3.69. I like I was
I
mentioning.
didn't even know Shaq scored that much.
Shaq was like 23 and 13 forever.
23 and like 12. Let's see. I want to make sure. You're right. Probably right about. He
Because
averaged.
Shaq couldn't shoot that well. He could
Zach-
Shoot free throws.
Zach,
Yeah.
his career was 11 rebounds a game.
imagine going to
He got out
Shaq
rebounded by
shoot
Barkley
three.
and Rodman. Think
Barkley
about that.
was a rebounding beast.
Just think about that. When people bring up Shaq and they say he was the most dominant force, I'm like, okay. Did he out rebound Charles Barkley or Dennis Rodman? No. Barkley's 6'4", Rodman 6'8", $120.
Yeah,
And he couldn't out rebound either one of them.
Barkley was a rebound, and a lot of that has to do with. I think people are gifted on watching the ball and knowing where it's going to come out at. Is that
Want to also. You got to think. So in the Lakers offense, like Shaq is a designed cog of the offense. In the Bulls offense, Rodman's not. So he does have more of an advantage on getting offensive boards that way, is that he don't have to worry about, they're looking for me. Now, Rodman, you know just as well as I do, when he was open, he'd cut to the basket and dunk on everybody. But he wasn't like popping out for the jump shot or anything. Shaq only averaged 13 rebounds his first 2 years in the league, Zach. And 1 year with the Lakers, he averaged 13. Shaq never averaged 30 points a game in a single year. Have I give you that list of players who've averaged 30? Like, it's not, you wouldn't even
not
think.
exhaustive?
No, it's not.
Very short.
Like,
I'm
put it
I'm
this
sure
way,
Iverson probably did one.
most of them are like one time.
Harden, maybe a couple.
Is how they are.
I think
Yeah,
Harden had 2. Jordan had more. He's over 30 for his career.
right.
Yeah.
He averaged for his career. The seasons he had 1, 2, 3, 4,
got Wilt.
5, 6, 7, 8. Jordan had 8 seasons of
Wilt was
30 or more.
definitely in
I think
that.
Wilt was 7. Let me pull that up to make sure.
I'm just trying to think of people. Maybe Dominique once.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the guys, it's just not
I know Dominique had a 28 or something year.
6, 7, 8, 9. Wilt had 9
How many years did Jordan play
total, or with the Bulls.
total?
Total, Michael played 15
85.
seasons, 13 in Chicago, 2 in Washington.
He lost a year and a half.
So put Jordan's career in perspective, okay? So first year, our rookies win the championship, leading the team to his championship. Yes or no, Tanner?
No.
Okay. Our rookies leading a team that the year before was called the Cocaine Express to the championship.
No.
Okay. So Jordan's rookie year, he averages 28 points a game, right? Plays all 82 games. Speaking of which, Jordan played 82 in his last season, and LeBron's only done it once in his career. So in his second year, I'm gonna make sure I get these in exact order. NBA playoff history. So in Michael's second year, Tanner, he broke it. He broke his leg / ankle, whatever it was. Okay. And the problem he had was he didn't play much the second year. But so he I'm gonna pull these NBA playoff series here. All right, Zach. Here we go. We're going all the way back to 1985 for you. How about that?
Golly.
Is that,
Gotta scroll all the way down to the page.
is that a long time?
Yes.
So Jordan's first year, Zach, was 85 his rookie year. Who's the champion?
1980.
The Boston Celtics.
They won back to back. Can I find total points per game?
No, I was wrong. The Lakers won 85. Celtics won in 86. Let's see if the Bulls were. All right, the Bulls were beaten by the Bucks in his rookie year. Okay. Second year he didn't play. Remember he came back for the playoffs?
Yeah, he got hurt. Coming to the playoffs.
They got swept by Boston.
Yeah, he smoked them, though. I mean, he was, like, ridiculous. That's when Larry Bird said that was God, Jesus or God playing in. that's when he made his comment.
All right. So the first 2 years, you hold anything against him right now?
No,
Okay.
it's his first
Two greatest teams ever won the championship.
I mean, he has 6 rings, so yeah.
So-
I don't
so-
hold anything against him now.
So let's go to 1987. 87. Swept by the Celtics. Celtics make the finals, get beat by the Lakers. That was the year he scored 37 points a game. 37 points a game. You know how many threes he shot a game? 0.8.
What?
0.8 threes a game, and he averaged 37 a game, Tanner. How you going to give up 37 a game
And he shoots 0.8
to
threes.
someone not shooting threes who's 6'6"? Unstoppable. So how about, all right, year 3, Celtics. All right, 88 and 89 was year 4 and year 5.
That was, Pistons.
88 was Lakers over Pistons, and then the next 2 years were Pistons over Lakers. So they lost to, in every one of these years, except his rookie year, they lost to the team that made the finals. You understand what I mean? Like, they didn't get beat by trash.
Yeah, they had major
They didn't
trouble
get
with
beat by the Charlotte Hornets.
Right. The champion beat them. The Eastern Conference champion knocked them out.
the Jordan rules.
The first years. All right, Tanner, let's look at it this way then. In 96, starting in 91, he wins 6 out of 8 championships. The 2 he didn't win, the Rockets won. He never got to play them. Akeem swept Shaq in 95, beat Patrick Ewing also. Patrick Ewing never was like 0-8 against Michael or something like that in the playoffs. 0-5.
Who?
Patrick Ewing against Michael in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, it was horrible. He won't even talk. He wouldn't even do the. He wouldn't even do the documentary. But take him back to a dark place.
So they win 6 out of 8 championships. 2 of them he don't play in. They win. They come back and he sweeps Shaq with Luke Longley. Luke Longley swept Shaq 96, by the way.
Now the year he did come back, they did get beat by the Magic, but he only had he was in basketball shape.
So
Baseball shape.
So Tanner,
What happened to my mic? It just went way.
It did get a little louder. It's weird. It might just be our ears. It's not the mic. Don't worry about the mic. It's probably
it just went way loud.
So Tanner, so you got first 6 years, the only people that beat him were the team that made the finals. Then the next 6 years, every year he played, he won. For 6 straight years, every year he played, he won. Just think of who's got rings in his career. Magic's led a team to 1. Isaiah 2. Larry 1 or 1 or 2. And that's it.
Isaiah, you say Isaiah?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
He shut down the whole league for years. Think about who doesn't have rings because he does. Barkley don't have a ring. Karl Malone don't have a ring.
Clyde Drexler.
Patrick Ewing. Clyde. Did Clyde get one the second year? I thought he was on the second team. Was he not? I think he was. We'll check that.
Portland?
No, Houston. He was on the second Houston team.
You might be right.
He was on the second Houston team.
The Barkley missing Houston team too.
Barkley and Pippen was on that team.
I thought they would have won. I hate they didn't win.
Right.
I really, nostalgia wise, I like that team.
Right, I did too.
They just didn't mesh together. Pippen and him, they just didn't fit.
So look,
Barkley didn't really like Pippen, I don't think.
Even if you count Elijah let's count Elijah. So there's 4 guys who led their teams to championships.
Elijah ones don't count though.
While an asterisk, 3 and an asterisk that led their team to championships while Jordan was in the league. The first 3 did it without Scottie Pippen being around. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So now let's go look at LeBron. 2003 Spurs. So let's say Duncan. 2004 Pistons. We'll say Chauncey. 2005 Spurs. 2006, Heat. That was D Wade. Well, I'm going best player on each team, right? 2007 was Spurs. That's back to Duncan. 2008, Celtics. Now, Zach, who do you put as the Celtics' best player?
What year?
The year they won the championship.
Garnett's good too.
That's who I say. All time, Garnett's higher than Pierce, right?
Yeah, Garnett.
Yeah, I mean,
But
that was a
Pierce
good
was
team.
probably the leading scorer on that team. He was probably the go-to scorer, I'd say. But Garnett is the. Do they win without Garnett? They weren't
Most
nothing
people are
until
gonna
Garnett.
say
hit.
Garnett.
What would we be thinking about Vince if Garnett would have went to Toronto instead of Boston? Right? I mean, I always thought Vince was better than Paul Pierce. All right. So anyway, that's three. That's three people or four. Was that 3 or 4? Let's say 3, just so because I ain't going back. Lakers won 2 in a row with Kobe, so there's 4 people now. Dirk won 1. There's 5.
You got Mike. Did you say Mike?
Yeah. Then the Miami beat the Spurs. Spurs beat Miami.
Then you get to Dallas.
Then Golden State. So you got Curry. That's 6. Then Durant was the leader of the other one. 7. Kawhi 8. 8 different players have led their team to a championship while LeBron James has been in the league.
And LeBron's been there a lot.
8 different players have led their team to a championship while LeBron has been in the league. 3.5, 4 and an asterisk for Michael on the Elijah one thing.
I think LeBron's been in it's like 10 or 12, something like that.
10. He's 4 and 6.
Yep. He's under 500. He's Cam Newton numbers.
Well, and that's the thing. Like going into it, Zach, going into a football season or going into a Super Bowl, a NBA Finals, it is more likely than not that they're going to lose than win, right?
Mm-hmm.
Simple math.
Let's just make the Super Bowl into the
2 out of 3.
NBA playoffs,
What do you mean?
like the series.
Oh, you want to do a series in football?
Yeah.
2 out of 3? Is that too much? I don't know why they need a week to prepare. All right. All 16 I don't care about that. What else on your news and notes, Zach, this week?
That's all I had. Was the chat comment?
I was trying to think. I watched. Did you know he's wrestling now? Did you see that?
Yeah, he got put through a table.
2
AEW,
tables.
What?
AEW, supposed to be the fresh, new, old school kind of thing. They're trying to, but they're signing a lot of the old talent. It ain't gonna work.
I think they're just trying to get some names.
Yeah, they brought the Big Show in.
Listening to
Would you want to wrestle Shaq though? As big as he is.
Listening to
He got his butt whipped by one of the MMA guys. I don't know if y'all saw that video.
listening to Cornette's
It's all fake.
drive-through. One of the points he's making on one of the things that I agree with 100%. It was that he was talking about. He was asked about Sid Vicious. Is who he was asked about, and he was talking about how whether or not Sid could wrestle or not, which he couldn't.
Yeah. He's $1 million.
He said right. He was getting to that. Whether or not he could talk or not, which he couldn't.
I got a video you got to see.
Cornette said, by God, the dude, he used a bunch of different, more colorful language than I do. He's, by God, the dude looked and walked the part as a wrestler. Nobody looked more like a professional wrestler than Sid Vicious.
They throw money at him.
Right. He said, we just make money with nothing. He sucked.
That's our $1 bills while he wrestles.
No, not like that type of money, Tanner.
Oh, my Lord.
But what he was pointing out today is like in today's silly wrestling, Zach, is that they don't have these big studs. That he was calling the anabolic warrior, and he was like, and he was talking about how like you don't have these. Like he said, we used to, you'd bring a guy in, and be like, damn, that's a big old dude, that's a big old man, and he's gonna sell tickets. And now he said, I don't even know what they're doing. He obviously more colorful language. And,
Oh, yeah.
And he just went on about like they don't have like the big men that they used to. Everybody's average size. He's like, anybody that wants to wrestle can wrestle now. It's used to have to be big because they asked him about Shaq, and he kind of got on Sid Vicious on that. Interesting listening. I like clicking on him, and listening to some of his stuff every now and then.
Don't come off see it for a second. I was going to pull up a clip. I got to find it though.
He's not a fan of the Warrior. He hates him.
Nobody was a fan of the Warrior. I think the only people that was fan of the Warriors was us when we were little.
Who was the guy that?
You're right.
You ever see the guy that had worms in his mouth?
You know what he's talking about?
Oh, he's talking about not Papa Shango, but the other one. It's WWE. Black and red paint.
He would kiss
the
girls
Boogeyman?
with
Boogeyman.
Yeah. He would kiss girls with worms in his mouth.
During the match, he took a handful of live worms from his pocket and stuffed them in his mouth. Over the next few weeks, the Boogeyman's opponents were destroyed with worms.
He beat one of them and like spit worms all over somebody.
Oh, that's him. Gotcha. That's the one. That's the thing you remember. That's the thing you pulled up was the Boogeyman.
I didn't watch wrestling like that. That's why.
I tell you what's interesting about listening to him talk. Zach is talking about because he's heavily involved, and also his memory. He's got a savant memory as far as Cornette, as far as all that goes.
He's got it all wrote. From what I understand, he's got like everything wrote down in a book.
Well, somebody asked him on one of the podcasts. And they said they was from this town. It's some weird ass named town, and he said. He called him out, Zach. He said, I think that's a lie. Y'all look that up on the map because that's not how you pronounce that place. It's off exit something. And he knew. He immediately knew like how to pronounce the name and what exit it was on. Like some crap hole.
I found it.
Wrestling thing you've never heard of. You're like, what?
I'm going to turn this up, see if y'all can hear this.
You put it right up on the mic.
This is Sid Vicious doing a live interview on Kevin Nash and Scott Hall.
Any Halloween costume you want to, but you know and I know that you're only half the man that I am.
Listen.
And I have half the brain that you do.
Look at the reaction of the guy.
Is that Scott Hall laughing? Scott Hall's funny.
He said,
funny.
you know, you're only half the man that I am, and I've got half the brain that you do. And they're like, and Scott Hall gets in Nash's ear. He said, did he really just say he had half the brain that we did? There's another video where he's on a Mean Gene, and he starts his thing. He says, can we start this over? He says, no, Sid, we're live.
That's awesome.
So he had the look. He didn't. He was not anything else. They actually promised him. Vince promised him Hogan's spot, and that's how. I mean, you think about that. Promise him Hogan's spot to get him to sign with you, and he quit because he didn't get that spot. Because when he got there, they was like, "Oh gosh, this guy sucks." And I know y'all all know. Well, Tanner might not, Kevin might, about the infamous stabbing incident with Arn Anderson.
Who stabbed who?
Sid almost killed Arn Anderson at the hotel. Because they had a dispute over something. Arn was
that was one of the questions. They were like
terribly drunk.
He said something like, one of the questions was like, so Vince still likes Sid after he stabbed somebody, and then Cornette was like, he didn't give a F. He was making him money.
So he got stabbed by Arn, and he gets the scissors from him, and he starts stabbing him. Too Cold Scorpio told the story. He said, if I hadn't come out, he said he'd killed him. He said this crazy look in his eyes. I finally got him to quit stabbing Arn. He said Arn was just laying there drunk.
Jeez.
So,
he was talking about Arn the other day that Arn and Rick are not in a talking mood right now. Apparently, that Rick was mad that Arn didn't come visit him in the hospital
when he was about dead. Some people don't do well with that,
right? It's hard to hold some things. I mean, it'd be different. Like if I called him, I was like, "Hey Zach, you can come see me," and he don't come. That's different. I don't know.
I'll tell you one of my favorite Cornette, and it's hard to watch any Cornette stuff because his language he's just like F-bomb everything. But he was talking about Vader. Have you heard the one of Vader when he came to WWF? And he's talking because you would have to go to Vince's house, and you would sit at the pool. You'd go over all this stuff.
I've heard some of that.
And he says, Cornette's sitting at the pool, and he's like, we signed Vader. You know, he said, we're going to name him the Mastodon. And he's like, What?
The Mastodon.
The Mastodon? He's Vader. Like, well, why do you want to name him the Mastodon? He looks like a Mastodon. He's Vader. He's like a legend in Japan.
Yeah, big Van Vader. Here's this is what I want to talk to you about. I'm glad you brought up here. I wanted to end the show.
What was it?
This is the history of the WWF Championship belt. I was kind of interested in it because he was talking about how, like, you know, what you're talking about with Hogan. And Hogan was the champion for 4 years.
Yeah, because he don't have a lot of. He only have 5-time champion all the time.
4 years.
Yeah.
He was from 84 to 88. Like, think about that. So, you know who beat him? See, let's see if Zach can nail
Sergeant Slaughter.
Nail it down. Nope. Andre.
Oh no, beat him in 88.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking overall who beat him in
88
in a championship match because I'd say Warrior, Sergeant Slaughter.
So who did Hogan get his belt from?
He got it? Iron Sheik.
Yep.
83.
Yep. It was December 26, 1983. Hulk Hogan won. He was when the Iron Sheik won his. Hogan won his in January of 84 and kept it for 1,400 days. Andre was the owner of the belt for less than a day.
Yeah, he gave it to Ted DiBiase.
He gave it to DiBiase, and President Jack Tunney ruled that it was vacating the title.
Yeah.
Who won the vacated title?
What year?
88.
Macho Man.
There you go. Macho Man defeats Ted DiBiase in the tournament final to take it over.
Is it bad that I know all these?
Yes.
That's why
bad?
No. Well,
Yes.
no. Yes and no. I want to see how far you can get with it.
What,
Because-
do you watch wrestling a lot?
Then
Growing up, yeah.
I was a diehard.
So, all right, who beat Randy Savage? And they
Flair.
renamed it the WWF Championship.
Flair.
No, not yet.
That would have been 91.
92's Flair.
Two.
We're still in 89.
They renamed
There's only
it.
one champion in 1989.
Give me a minute. I gotta go through some.
So Randy Savage beat DiBiase. Then a whole year later in April, in the same town of Atlantic City.
Was it Hogan?
Yep.
Because there wasn't another big star.
Yeah, you're right. So Hogan beat Randy.
And that was the Mega Powers deal, is what that was.
And
that's
the-
when they exploded. That's
and-
when they started with the Mega Powers, and then him and Elizabeth and all that. Yeah, that's when he won it back.
So in 90, who was the champion in 90 for the year? Also
Ultimate Warrior.
Yep, also the Intercontinental Champion. Now, here's where we start getting fun going back and forth. Those were kind of, not for you and other people, kind of easy for Zach, I think. I think when they start jumping back every few here, it gets a little weird because this is when I guess WWE was starting to get
Younger,
WCW and everything. So, who took it from Warrior? I keep asking that just to see if you can remember the matches because that's really how you can remember it. At Royal Rumble 91. And you mentioned him earlier. You just got the years mixed up.
It wasn't Flair. Flair won it from Macho Man at
Still got a
WrestleMania.
few more years. Still got a few more years to
Flair
him.
won it from Macho Man at WrestleMania.
January 19th, 1991, Royal Rumble.
Who would it have been? Sergeant Slaughter?
Yep.
Because he was the Iraqi Sergeant Slaughter at that time.
Sergeant Slaughter beats the Ultimate Warrior.
And then Hogan comes back and beats him.
Right. Hogan, that was
Because
his
that
third.
was All-American Hero
that was
versus
his
the Iraqi guy,
third-
which makes sense because it was Desert Storm.
Right. It was his third championship.
Yep.
He won that in March, but lost it at the Survivor Series.
Hogan lost it to Earthquake. Not Earthquake.
No.
Earthquake hurt him. Undertaker
There you
beat him
go.
because they did the tombstone on the chair, and then Hogan said, "Oh, you hurt me, brother." I'll tell you that.
Survivor Series, the gravest challenge.
Yeah, that was
Undertaker beats Hogan for his first championship.
I'm doing pretty good.
All right, who took Undertaker's championship away?
Hogan
from
won
him?
it back from him
There you go.
the next day.
6 days later.
Okay,
Very close.
I
Next
knew it was
week.
very close. Yeah,
Next
I knew
week.
it was very close.
It was vacated. Then Hogan was stripped by title by WWE President Jack Tunney due to the controversy surrounding both of the previous title changes, whatever that means. Royal Rumble match was then won by
Ric Flair
There you go. Ric Flair wins the Royal Rumble match.
to get the match against Macho Man at WrestleMania.
There you go. Now, who did Flair eliminate in the Royal Rumble?
He come in as number 3, and he got all the way to the end. Hogan is that?
How do you
That's
know
way
all
too
this?
detailed. Now, that's too much.
So he was number 3.
You know
He got all the way to
this?
the end. Hogan got knocked out by. He eliminated Sid Justice.
There you go.
That's
Sid-
ridiculous.
Sid-
It's ridiculous because Hogan throws out
Justice.
Sid Justice. No, Sid Justice throws out Hogan. While he's throwing out Hogan, Flair throws out Sid Justice.
There you go.
What is this, a wrestling podcast now?
Yeah, this is a sports entertainment podcast, Tanner. All right, so who beat Flair, and then Flair took it back from him.
He beat Macho
There you
Man, and then
Macho beat him, and then
yeah,
he took it back from Macho same year, all in '92.
yeah.
Then we had another champion in '90. We had 4 champions in '92. Who beat Flair on a house show in Saskatoon, Canada?
Bret Hart.
Yep.
The house show.
Bret Hart won his first championship on a house show in Saskatoon,
He did.
Canada, from Ric Flair.
I'm doing pretty good.
See,
This
we
was
should
90
just make you go get
I went from
somebody
83
that
to
knows
92.
This was '92. I didn't realize that some of the guys held them for damn years.
Yeah, they
Like,
did.
that's
It kind of started getting loose here.
Right. 93 was held by 2 people. One guy held it twice. Who beat Bret Hart
Diesel.
in Las Vegas at WrestleMania 9?
Yokozuna.
There you go.
This is wrestling trivia.
Wait, watch this, Tanner. It gets a little weird. What happened after Yokozuna pinned Bret Hart, Zach?
He turned around and put the sharpshooter on it and won it back.
No. After Yokozuna pinned Hart
Yeah.
to win, Yokozuna's manager, Mount Fuji, issued an immediate challenge to Hogan,
Okay.
which was accepted, and Hogan came out and beat him.
Yeah.
Same day, same WrestleMania.
Yeah. The Hogan thing didn't do good with Yokozuna, though.
Then Yokozuna won it back
Yeah.
from Hogan.
And then we get
And then who beat Yokozuna back? They all beat each other. Bret Hart.
Yeah. And then Luger shows up.
So Bob Backlund wins.
That's horrible.
What
He
happened
was a
there?
1970. He was a
Right.
70s, and he just showed.
He was the
ridiculous.
second or third champion on the list. So
And
how
he
did
was
he
like
end up
1970.
winning something
They
in the
brought him
90s?
back. I don't know. It was horrible.
It says this was a throw-in-the-towel submission match.
It was dumb.
Who was the guest referee for Bret Hart Yokozuna? WrestleMania 10. Who's always the guest referee? Back then. Who calls the
Muhammad
most-
Ali.
No. Rowdy.
Oh yeah. I like.
If they needed a guest referee, Piper was it, wasn't he?
He's the one that never won the championship. That's dumb.
Yep. So he didn't. Diesel wins it.
Yeah, I told you Diesel was coming up, and then Shawn Michaels.
Diesel
shows up
wins
after.
in '94.
Yeah.
That's Kevin Nash for you
Yeah.
folks that don't understand. He won it in '94. I don't know how he won it or who he won it off
He
of.
was the.
Says it at a house show.
He was the bodyguard of Shawn Michaels,
Yeah.
and then they kind of filtered him into wrestling. I can't believe he won it before Shawn did.
He did. He won it 2 years before Shawn Michaels did. In fact, Bret Hart won it on a no disqualification match with Kevin Nash. And then Shawn Michaels won a
96.
60-minute Iron Man match. We won 1-0 in overtime, whatever that
It was
means.
96
That was, March of '96.
WrestleMania.
So who did, it was WrestleMania 12. Now, who took it from Shawn Michaels at their Survivor Series?
Brett.
We've already mentioned him before. It's not
Taker.
Hart. No. He had 4 different names.
4 different names.
Raymond Udy.
Sid Justice.
Yeah. Psycho Sid.
Was he psycho at that
It
time?
was Psycho Sid, the
That's what I
31st
know.
champion. Then it was vacated. Shawn Michaels forfeited the title
I'm
due
a
to
little bit
no,
off in this because in '96 I started going to Nitro.
Right. So some of that was
little
that
bit.
was definitely back. That
Oh,
was
you started
hardly-
going Nitro Circus?
No, there was 2 different wrestlings.
WCW went to Nitro, and I
Right.
started kind of watching because Nash and all those guys started going over there. That was when they switched.
Right. Well, Hogan,
Nash,
Flair, it was all a big.
Piper.
When
So,
you said Nitro, the only thing I thought of was Nitro Circus.
oh, no.
So WWE was Raw and WCW is Monday Nitro. was the name of their show.
Because now we're going to get into Shawn Michaels.
Right.
And then you start.
So
97,
Shawn
you're gonna
Michaels
get to the
beat Bret
Screwjob.
Hart.
That was probably the Survivor Series Montreal Screwjob.
Then Psycho Sid beat Shawn Michaels. Then Shawn Michaels beat Psycho Sid. Then Michaels
What year are we at? 96?
97.
Okay, 97. We're going to get the Survivor Series, I believe, and then Bret Hart's going to
Hold on.
lose in Canada.
That's hold on, God, Lee. 1, 2.
When did The Rock start wrestling?
We had 7 champions in 97.
Yeah.
Different
I can see that.
champions. So here's how it went. Michaels forfeited it due to a knee injury. They had a 4-way elimination match. Bret Hart is your winner.
Yeah.
His 4th championship.
Yeah,
He beat who'd he beat, Zach? Chattanooga, Tennessee, in your house Final Four is what it was called. And if you would have said these names out loud, you wouldn't have picked Bret Hart
Stone Cold Steve Austin
as the winner. He was one of them.
Stone Cold actually passed out. So you're talking about the 4-way?
Yeah, who was doing the 4-way? Stone Cold, Bret Hart. Who was the other two?
Undertaker
Yep.
and Stone Cold.
We mentioned this guy earlier too.
Stone Cold, Bret Hart, Undertaker, and
The Mastodon.
was it Vader?
Yep.
They never give him anything.
So if I give you Vader,
gonna tell you why he didn't get
Undertaker,
nothing.
Stone Cold, and Bret Hart in a 4-way match, are you picking Bret Hart out of that?
Vader never got the belt because Shawn Michaels kept crying that he was hurting him in the ring, so he got in trouble.
No. Poor Shawn.
And
that is one person I did not like.
Yeah.
At no point in my life did I like Shawn Michaels for anything. I didn't like him and Triple H. I didn't like him. Those two right there. At no point under any circumstances have I ever liked them for anything. Macho kind of went back and forth, but Macho was entertaining no matter what he did, whether he was good guy, bad guy, or whatever. He was entertaining. He was flying off the ropes. Triple H is a jerk, and Shawn Michaels is like, who can relate to Shawn Michaels?
Yeah.
Like, he's got this long hair, he's whiny, pretty boy type. You know, you're just like, I don't know. So Michaels beats. All right, let's let me back up.
Yeah, we're starting to get into where the Montreal Screwjob happened in the Survivor Series, and once that happens, then
we're
Shawn's
two
gonna
away.
get it.
We're 2 or 3 away from there. Psycho Sid beat Bret Hart again for his 2nd title. Undertaker beat Psycho Sid in a no disqualification match. Then Bret Hart beat The Undertaker. Shawn Michaels was the guest referee. Then the Montreal Screwjob.
Then
Shawn
you're going to
Michaels.
start transitioning to Taker, Rock, Stone Cold.
Right. The very next one was Stone Cold.
Yep. Because Stone Cold 316 happened at Survivor Series. He come out with that. Austin 316 said, I just kicked your butt.
All right, so Stone Cold, that's WrestleMania 14. Who is the outside enforcer?
At WrestleMania 14, that would have been Mike Tyson.
Yep.
Mike Tyson wrestled.
He was
the
the enforcer. And he was wrestling Shawn Michaels.
All right, who took it from Kane in a blood match? First blood match.
Undertaker.
I actually said the guy's name. Kane took it from Stone Cold.
Oh.
Then Stone Cold got it back. It was vacated after Kane and Undertaker simultaneously pinned Stone Cold in a triple threat.
When
Then,
did The Rock come to wrestling?
hey, I'm glad you asked. He's next, buddy. Hey, that cut out. Hey, kid.
Yep.
The Rock, 98, St. Louis, Missouri, defeats Mankind. This is what's funny about The Rock's. His epic matches were Mankind.
Yes.
When you
And
look at
he about
these-
killed him.
It's Rock, Mankind, Rock, all within a 1-year span.
Then you
I
get
quit
to
match, no disqualification
get to,
match,
like,
empty
WrestleMania
arena match, ladder match.
WrestleMania 17-ish, I think, is when he wrestled Stone Cold.
At 15, Stone Cold wins over The Rock.
Yeah.
Over the Edge, Undertaker's next. Charlotte on Raw, Stone Cold beats The Undertaker on Raw. Says if Undertaker had gotten himself disqualified, he would lose the championship, whatever that means. Then Mankind won it again. Mankind's a 3-time winner. And Vader, no.
Rick Rude,
Roddy Piper.
all these awesome.
So then Triple H wins his first one. This is when you know it's over. Is when Triple H wins and Vince McMahon is your champion.
Yep.
Then it's vacated, then Triple H again.
So did I get an A for my?
You got an A. You got an A plus. Let's see if
horrible.
we can name some of them.
That's horrible.
Kurt Angle got into.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho.
Edge got a couple.
Triple H, Hollywood Hulk
John
Hogan,
Cena went
Hollywood
ridiculous. Randy Orton was ridiculous.
I
Randy
love
Orton's a
John
14.
Cena wrestling.
Randy Orton's a 4. I hate John Cena.
Here's some of
I just don't.
you say Cena?
He's 16-time champ.
Did you say you hate Cena? Is that
I
what you
hate
said?
Cena.
I'm not a Cena fan at
I
all.
like Orton. He's 14-time champ.
Randy Orton's won 14. Who?
14 time.
Isn't he like really short?
No, Randy's like 6'5". He's a big guy.
So here's some of the weirder ones. I'm gonna go through here. Obviously, Kurt Angle. He's 4-time champion. That's about this list. He might be more. That's 2003. Brock Lesnar was all the way in 2003. It doesn't
quit.
seem like it's that long, does
He
it?
quit
he
and
quit.
went to
Yeah.
UFC, didn't he?
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero,
And now he's
Yeah,
back.
that's surprising. I'm surprised they did that.
Bradshaw,
He sucks.
John Cena beat Bradshaw. Edge beat Cena. Cena beat Edge. Rob Van Dam beat
Horrible.
Cena. Edge beat Rob Van Dam. Like who? Think about that. You want to watch a championship match between Edge and Rob Van Dam?
Rob Van Dam was probably high.
Let's go look at Ronda Rousey in wrestling.
Then we got Orton, Triple H, Edge, Jeff Hardy won a championship. Batista was a big dude.
Yeah.
Batista's that he reminded me of kind of Sid Vicious type.
Yeah.
Tall, big, just ripped
He just
like
sucks.
crazy. Just Sheamus won.
That's horrible.
The Miz,
Horrible.
CM Punk.
Very horrible.
He's a 2-time champion.
Everybody loves CM Punk. I didn't.
Jake Paul was
Rey
talking about
Mysterio.
fighting CM Punk.
Alberto Del Rio
He's horrible.
has won twice. Daniel Bryan, do you like him?
He's all right.
Seth Rollins,
You don't like
Roman
5'8".
Reigns, Sheamus, Dean Ambrose, Jinder Mahal, Kofi, then Brock Lesnar back, Drew McIntyre. So
Bill
yeah,
Goldberg.
you crushed the other stuff. That I like. Put it this way, you did above and beyond what I thought you would, and I thought you would do excellent to begin with. So, wow, good job. I was trying to just think. So Kane, I saw Cornette talking about him. So the original thing about him was he said that he was a failed wrestler because of his other gimmicks.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had him as
Isaac Yankem.
a bad dentist or something
Isaac
like that.
Yankem.
Okay, that was in that. So Cornette said, so there was an argument in creative about what to do with him. The people they paid to be creative about it wanted to make him into like a superhero and give him a cape and stuff. And he said, I saw more of a Michael Myers type thing is what I was seeing, is that he needed to be scary and horrible and all that. And they immediately made him like you said, they made him a title contender. And yeah, I mean, his name just pops up on the list there.
Undertaker said that was the greatest thing that they could have ever done for his character is to make Kane, because that made the storyline that he had an evil brother, and it just worked.
It did work. I would say this. I think The Undertaker would have had just the same career,
Oh yeah, it's good.
whether or not, because his matches were
I
outstanding.
think you're like me.
His
You're
thing-
a huge Undertaker fan.
he's the whole thing about a wrestler is their gimmick has to be good, their name, they have to be good, they have to be able to talk, they have to be able to do all of that, and he's one of the ones that can do it all. You know, I put Rock right there with all that. In Sting,
I'm a Rock
and
fan. I
Flair
think he
and
could
Hogan.
talk. My top 3 favorites: Flair's 1, Sting's 2, Undertaker's 3.
Oh, so you got Sting up there on the talking. You like that?
My favorite. No,
Some
not
people-
talking. I'm talking about my
wrestler.
favorite.
Okay.
Talking, he's all
No.
right. Talkers, Rock, Dusty Rhodes, Flair.
Right. I like the funny ones.
Dusty could just.
The Rock's hilarious.
The Rock is great. The Rock got a lot of his stuff from Dusty. You listen to him tell it. He'll tell you.
Tanner, do you know why he created the People's Elbow?
No.
Tell him.
To try to make the Undertaker break character in
To
the
make
ring.
him laugh.
To laugh.
The only reason he did it was to make him laugh.
And I mean, the people loved it.
The People's Elbow. It's so stupid.
And he got that from the bionic elbow from Dusty.
Yeah.
That's-
He used to do
that was
the,
it was the real.
Didn't he used to rip the elbow pad off too, Dusty?
Yep, and he would,
That's what I
he would
thought.
pull it down.
Okay.
Pull
okay.
it down, and then he would. But yes, to make Undertaker break, and nobody could do it.
And, all right, Cornette, one thing. So they were talking about Kane's mask, that he wanted him to make it like a, he wanted to make it almost like, the way it's like Joker, almost. He wanted to make it where Kane drew a face on the mask, was trying to make a normal face.
Right.
Is how they wanted it. His original idea was it. So there was a cross between Superman that had a cape on him and everything, and then so they cross them kind of together. And it's kind of how they come up with everything. Also, he mentioned Stone Cold, and one of them that he was one of the only people that Stone Cold was one of the only people to not lay down for Hogan, and he was proud as fuck about that.
They wanted him to
That's how he
wrestle
put it.
him instead of The Rock.
Yeah.
And Stone Cold turned it down, and The Rock took it, and it was Icon versus Icon, and the crowd went absolutely ape crap.
It's weird
for
to
it.
me how stunning Steve Austin could turn down Hulk Hogan.
He drew more money in the time frame that he was. Both of them were excellent, but he at that time he was the it person. They was trying to put him together. He didn't want it. They put him in there with Rock, and it exploded. Rock was a perfect guy to put in there with Hogan.
I think one thing I guess before we get out here is to kind of maybe want you to explain to folks Tyson, Hogan, Michael Jackson. These icons from the 80s were so much bigger in popularity than people today realize, as far as like those people couldn't go anywhere or do anything, and the whole world knew who they were.
When Hogan's, I mean,
He was the champion for, again, real quick, he was the champion for 4 years.
Yeah, because
Like he
they
owned the
never
world.
changed it.
And those same 4 years, weren't that Tyson's prime, 84 to 88?
Yeah.
So, and then that was Michael's. That's Danger. I mean, Undangerous. That's Thriller. That's when didn't Thriller come out 84, 82?
82.
So like that, those are those years in the 80s. Those icons people don't understand. So when they say Hulk Hogan, kids today would be like, they can do a Google search of him and find all kinds of weird or different things about him. But that's not how this country knows him or the wrestling world. Like he was an icon.
When his music hit, the crowd went absolutely. I get goosebumps when it hits now.
Yeah.
And I'm 42 years old because it's when it comes crashing down, because he's coming out and he's gonna be ripping the shirt and and just it was perfect. The only person that got a bigger pop, the only team that got a bigger pop than Hogan was the Road Warriors. Called the Road Warrior pop.
Yeah.
And it was, they said the roof would go off place every time when you hear that, ooh, what a rush. So you won't ever have that again. I can show you 80s videos of the Rock and Roll Express coming out, and they're crawling. Like, they can't get to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't happen like, it ain't like that anymore.
Are.
They're all over them.
The Michael, I was trying to explain to him while we were doing Michael Jackson sound or music listenings, how big Michael was, to a point where, like, okay, Zach, see if you think this is an apt comparison. The Trump rallies the past few years. You see that, you see the thousands of people at that. Does that not remind you of Michael Jackson, just an appearance when he went to other countries?
Do you remember when he was going
insane.
to court?
Yeah.
They were lined the streets,
Yeah.
and he was standing on the car, and
just the 80s
people
the 80s were different without the internet. I mean, you had these icons that Hulk was everywhere. All right, let me check my stuff real quick. Make sure there's nothing fun or funny I wanted to mention to you this week before we get out of here.
I hate Tanner missed that.
The 80s. Here's one. Touchdown passes over 40 yards in the playoffs since 2012. Rodgers, 6. Romo, Alex Smith, Stafford, Cousins, Julian Edelman, Jameis Winston, and Joe Webb, 1.
Wow.
Tom Brady, 0.
That's not surprising.
Since 2012,
Hard to believe.
40-yard touchdown passes in the playoffs.
As many times as Brady.
Aaron Rodgers has 6.
Brady's
Romo, Alex Smith, Stafford, Kirk Cousins, Julian Edelman, Jameis Winston, and Joe Webb all have 1. Tom Brady, 0. This year, if you remember the Scotty Too Hotty touchdown pass, 39 yards. Missed it by 1, Zach.
Wow.
That's a weird Tom Brady stat of the day. I brought this in. I know we're going to get on the show, Zach. Who can you name these people?
Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb.
Did you know Spud was that much bigger than him?
He's 5'7".
He's got to be more than 5.
Muggsy was 5'6", right?
Muggsy was listed at 5'3". Spud was listed at 5'7".
Okay. That's about.
That looks more than 4 inches, doesn't it?
Yeah. I would have thought they were
One
close.
of them's a dunk champion, the other one's not.
Yeah, it looks more than 4 inches.
I mean, Muggsy's coming up to Spud Webb's.
Shoulder.
Nose. No, he's up to here. He's in this area. He's in Spud's mustache area. So, I mean, if that's just 4 inches from your mustache to the top of your head, I don't know about that. Might be 5. Might be 6.
I love me some Muggsy.
All right, Zach, last thing. I'm going to give you a baseball scenario that me and Tanner saw this weekend. See how much.
Oh, my.
All right. Yetis played 3 games this weekend. First 2 games, they lost by a combined 30-2. They gave up 24 walks and hit batsmen. We are not sure by our count, because at some point we stopped counting, if either one of those are more or less than how many errors they had.
That's horrible. They must.
Yeah, because the guy that was doing the
The guy keeping the scoreboard, he just quit counting errors. He didn't
even
count
put errors up there. He put like
How can you be in college in baseball and you can't throw strikes?
All right, so that was bad. So Sunday, I'm only mentioning this. I did this the other day, but because since Tanner's here, Sunday, Zach, after 6 innings, they're up
7-2.
The Yetis after 6. No, that's not right. After 6 innings, they're up 4-2. They go to the 7th. Okay, they take out their pitcher that's done good. In the top of the 7th, hits the first batter, gives up a single, gives up a 2-run double. It's 4-2. They take him out. Okay, we're in the 7th. It's a 2-run game. Crap. You know, we might be in trouble because we gave up 30 the last 2 games. Bottom of the 7th, the guy comes in and gets 3 outs, and they get out of it. So bottom of the 7th, they get 3 more runs. The Yetis do. So, Zach, after 7 innings, the score is 7-3.
Right?
Let me make sure. No, 2. 7-2.
Yeah, it was 7-2.
After 7 innings, the score was 7-2, and they lost 11-7.
That sucks.
They scored 7 runs in 1 inning.
Zach, after 7 innings. Now, if we played 7 innings, they win by 5 runs.
Yeah.
After 8 innings, the score was 7-3.
That's horrible.
And they lost 11-7. Let me tell you how it went. I'm sorry, Gene, if you're watching, but it's interesting. I like fun baseball stats. All right, Zach, here's how it went. First 2 batters, it's going to be worse than even what I said. You ready?
Yeah.
First batter popped up to the catcher. Second batter grounded out to third.
And then they got 7.
Yeah.
It is
They had 2 home
7-3.
runs in that, didn't they?
Yeah, it is 7-3, 2 outs, top 9. The next batter hits a fly ball in the left field gap. The left fielder, it hits his glove, and he runs into the wall, and it pops out. Triple. Here's how the rest of the inning went. After the triple, single. After the single, home run. So now it's 7-6 with 2 outs. All right, guys, we're good. We're okay. We're still winning. Next guy, single. All right, let's take that pitcher out. Let's bring in the other guy. So now it's 7-6, runner at first. Ground ball to third, throws it away. Remember the left fielder already dropped an out. Third baseman just had an error. So now we're at 4 outs right now. The next guy, Zach, pops it up. Over to first base. Foul territory.
Drops it.
Missed it. That's 5 outs. Still could have won the game at this point.
They're horrible.
With 2 on, then those guys do a double steal to get over to third. I've got it on tape, Tanner, of what I said, and I listened to it. It's damn hilarious, Zach. The catcher didn't try to throw it, and I just went off. I was like, are we just going to let everybody just steal every base now? How are we going to win?
Funny.
What are we doing? And Tanner's like, he said something like, I don't know if he could have got him or something. I can't remember what you said. And I go, I don't care. Just throw the damn ball. I used to catch too. It's stupid. It wasn't 5 seconds later, Zach. Next pitch. Boom. And I go, and there's another homer.
That one was deep too.
That as soon as he hit it, I said, "And there's another homer."
It went out.
I
so
went,
quick.
"Just throw the ball to third, damn it!" 5 seconds later, dink, I go, and there goes another.
and it was
ball
over
game.
the wall.
With 2 outs in the top of the ninth, they gave up 7 straight runs.
That's horrible.
And that ends the day of broadcast. Sorry, Yetis, y'all get better. I know you will. First day, first weekend, first game at home. One thing we got to do, though, Tanner, when you do that, is unmute.
We wasn't mute the whole game.
No, the desktop. Boom, 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 boom. We'll be back in, let's see, tomorrow, myself and Hunter is going to go over some stuff, talk free agency football and more. Saturday Sports Talk, 8 a.m., of course, Friday Night Football on KTC.